of the room from a person walking briskly there. While genetics can play a role, puke gout is often caused by an overindulgence in sugary foods, alcohol, mainly beer and port or other sweet wines, shellfish, and meat.
What a place! Full of surprises.
I'm heading east.
Interfere with the mixing process if you don't keep your voice down.
Lost some sort of talent? What a place! It's full of surprises.
You might want to get a guide if you're not familiar with the area. Don't interfere with the mixing process if you don't keep your voice down.
I'm heading they don't see you over in the west wind here.
Many insects have a compulsion to follow the light, and humans are the same. Except we call that light hope. Exploration and trials. Adventuring is right up my alley.
it! Let the mountain's veins boil!
Get to work!
You two! Time to
Pyroclastic surge! Ah! Rev the engines!
dancing in the wind.
Jewelry's out of stock, but we have some new items in.
Welcome to Second Life. Satisfaction guaranteed.
thought I told him to spray it with water to retain moisture before applying the film. You can't treat a glaze lily like a cactus. If Sanjay does this again, the loss will have to come out of his food expenses.
I'll go talk to him. At this rate, he won't even be able to afford eating cacti for much longer.
Hey, Tainari!
Oh, it's you two. It's been a while. What brings you to Port Ormos?
We didn't have anything to do, and this place looked pretty lively, so we decided to stop by. But, what's with all the flowers around here?
Well, Port Ormos is currently organizing a flower exhibition featuring flowers and plants from all over Teyvat, so I came to help out. The exhibition includes flowers from every corner of the world, each with their own unique properties and needs. With that in mind, the curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar capable of retaining heat and moisture. Even so, an expert is still required to develop tailored transportation and care plans for each type of flower.
Oh, and that expert is you, right?
Not this time, no. I'm just here to help out. The expert in charge is someone else.
Mr. Tainari! Sanjay! He confused the poisonous bulbs with garlic shoots, and he ate them!
Never mind. Forget about what I said about the food expenses. Apologies, Traveler, Paimon. Looks like I've got something to take care of. I'll be back in just a moment.
Tainari's busy no matter where he is, huh? Yeah, seems like it. Some people just need supervision. Well, looks like Tainari might be busy for a while. Let's take a look around the port in the meantime. Wow, look at these flowers! They smell so...
Huh?
Paimon's... fine. She's just got a little...
Okay, wait. Paimon has allergies?
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilia's? No wonder.
So why is the Traveler immune?
It's getting worse. Why?
It's a really good sneeze, huh? By Karina. I wonder if every voice actor could sneeze like this.
Just a moment ago, she didn't even eat anything weird.
A moment of your time, you two? If it's not
Wow.
too much trouble,
Okay, we get it. Boobs and legs, huh?
Whoa, that was fast. Paimon doesn't have to sneeze anymore.
Think nothing of it. From your attire, I imagine you two aren't from Sumeru either. Seeing as we're both travelers from abroad, it's
Man, those things on her arm look so pixelated.
Oh, so you're here for the flower exhibition too?
I suppose that's accurate. Allow me to introduce myself.
Now the question is, does these glasses have frame?
Paimon is Paimon.
I don't think Genshin glasses has frames.
Oh, and this is...
The Traveler, right? I've heard a lot about you from the Steambird. It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
What happened back there? Why did Paimon start sneezing all of a sudden?
Now why didn't I start sneezing?
Have you ever heard of hay fever? To put it simply, when inhaled, certain pollens can trigger abnormal physical reactions.
Wait a minute, physical reactions in Genshin Impact?
I've seen these kinds of flowers before and nothing
What is going on here? The physical didn't react?
Well, we're all different. The factors that can trigger a reaction to certain stimuli vary by person. In isolation, The effects of certain pollens may seem minimal, but inhaling various types at once can trigger a more overt reaction. But there's no need to worry. Pollen allergies can be effectively mitigated with the use of medication.
Oh, well, that's good.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Is everything all right? I left in such a hurry, I forgot to warn you about all the pollen in the air. Emilie? Ah, what a coincidence. Looks like my worry was misplaced then. The Traveler and Paimon are in good hands.
It was nothing, really. We happened to run into each other shortly after my
Two
arrival.
danger characters from across the sea.
I'm more curious as to why you thought the Traveler and Paimon were in danger. Allergies are highly unpredictable. If you were concerned the pollen might trigger a reaction, that must mean something similar has happened in the past.
Remember the first time we met? You fainted after inhaling Spirit Borneal.
The Spirit Borneal didn't affect Paimon at all, and now she's the one suffering. It makes no sense.
It's not really something you can make sense out of, Paimon. There are all kinds of allergies out there, caused by a variety of different factors. Some people are even allergic to almonds. It's not something you can generalize.
Exactly. I even encountered a case in Fontaine where someone had an allergic reaction to soba noodles their family brought back from Inazuma.
Whoa. Good thing Paimon isn't allergic to anything delicious.
In a manner of speaking, although you could say the patients I deal with are rather unusual.
In addition to medicine, Emilie is also very knowledgeable about botany. She's taught me a lot about the native flora around Fontaine.
And that's where my expertise ends, I'm afraid. When it comes to breadth of knowledge, Tighnari certainly comes out on top.
A flower expert? Oh, Paimon's got it! You must be the expert Tighnari mentioned, the one in charge of the exhibition!
Wrong again, I'm afraid.
Well, I did come for the exhibition, but only to inquire about the Auguste variety. I'm not involved in any official capacity.
Oh, Paimon was sure she got it right this time.
It's a kind of flower that was once popular in Fontaine. The perfume made from it also bears the same name, Auguste.
Auguste, huh? That's not a name you hear often nowadays.
In an ancient language, the word is said to mean sacred or noble. It's sometimes used as a name for people as well. Ah, that reminds me. Are you familiar with a historical event in Fontaine known as Perfume Mania? Perfume Mania was an event that occurred in Fontaine nearly 20 years ago. It all started when several merchants released their own lines of high-end, expensive perfumes, marketing them as must-have luxury products, the very symbol of elegance itself. No one anticipated the absolute frenzy this would create on the market, causing the price of perfumes to skyrocket. The demand was twofold. What some saw as a status symbol, most saw as a money-making opportunity. You could take advantage of the soaring price by hoarding them and reselling at even higher margins. The value of these products became so inflated, regular bottles of perfume were even going for hundreds of thousands of mora. This resulted in countless disputes and scams. But at the end of the day, perfume is just perfume. The market value greatly exceeded the intrinsic worth of the product, creating an economic bubble that was never going to last. Luckily, the Palais Mermonia recognized the danger and intervened before the craze could truly spread. Many profiteers and scammers were thrown in jail as a result. In the end, only a few wealthy families were affected when the bubble popped.
What does all this have to do with that Auguste you mentioned earlier?
Well, during the craze, the most popular perfume was none other than Auguste. The demand far exceeded the supply, to the point where it once sold for 10 million mora a bottle.
10 million? Then what about now?
That's crazy.
After the mania ended, most perfumes returned
That's
to their
like
normal
more
price.
than I have on me
Auguste
right
was the
now.
only exception. Its namesake, the flower used to create it, went extinct. As a result, no new bottles of Auguste have been made, and the value of the perfume remains
Probably went.
exceedingly high.
Yeah, still. It's made from an extinct flower.
Indeed. The Auguste flower was not a natural variety, you see. It was specially cultivated for use in perfume making. When the bubble popped, all the flower beds used for its cultivation were destroyed in a fire. The variety has never been seen since.
But didn't you say you came to the exhibition to look for it?
Ah, yes. I came to investigate a certain rumor that the Auguste flower has reappeared in Sumeru. It's causing quite the stir in the Fontaine perfume market.
Traveler, we should help Emilie look for it.
I have to agree. Emilie wrote me to ask if I could look into the rumor, but the forest rangers haven't received any reports of new plant species recently.
Even if I can locate the flower, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed, Paimon. I don't have any grand Mora-making endeavors planned. Divine, noble, one of a kind, all beautiful sentiments to be sure, but to me, they overshadow the very essence of the product. When it comes to perfume, I want people to forget the price and the prestige and focus on the beauty of the fragrance itself.
Wow, so noble.
Of course, there's also a more practical
The
reason.
fact that she's a perfumer
Recent years, local
and
counterfeit
her
varieties of Auguste
her
have
actual
been
build
popping
is
up on the
around
Fontaine
burning
perfume market.
doesn't sound right. You don't want
Soon more
perfume to be
people will
burning.
realize the unique scent of Auguste, and the rumor mill will start comparing the counterfeits to my own work.
Okay, that's more like the reason Paimon had in mind.
What? You mean your own work? Are you the one that made it?
Ever since that rumor started, 3 new perfumes claiming to be made from the Auguste flower have appeared on the market. If I can dispel the fanaticism surrounding Auguste, even just by proving the rumor to be false, Fontaine's perfume market can finally start to get back to normal. Then I'll be free from all the stories and added meaning and just focus on making what I like.
That makes sense.
Oh, I would of course be grateful for your help, but I wouldn't want to trouble you.
Well, you said it yourself. We're both travelers from abroad, so it's only right that we help each other out.
Ha! I suppose you're right. Then you have my thanks.
Based on the information I have so far, it's unclear if the rumor is true. Mr. Edgar also thinks it's too early to say, but you could always go talk to him. He was there all those years ago, after all. Maybe he'll know something.
Huh, I was just about to pay him a visit at the hotel.
Edgar? Who's that?
The person you've been trying to guess this whole time. The flower expert in charge of the exhibition. He's also the most respected and experienced perfumer in the area. Back when he was still working in Fontaine, Auguste was his creation.
I should also mention, he was my teacher, the one who taught me the basics of perfumery when I apprenticed in Sumeru.
So this guy was a famous perfumer in Fontaine, but then he came to Sumeru to teach people from Fontaine? It sounds confusing.
The Auguste flower, a mysterious species.
Apparently, the exhibitor paid a large sum to rent out the hotel and surrounding buildings. They're being used as temporary storage facilities and lodging for exhibition personnel.
Yeah, what if guests come early? They won't have anywhere to stay. Also, renting out this big of a hotel, how are they gonna make that Mora back?
It's been so long, I almost didn't recognize you, Edgar.
Well, you and your brother haven't changed a bit.
Oh, yeah, look, all this catching up is nice and all, but let's get down to business. We need to talk about Kyria. Is he...
Hold on, we have guests.
It's nice to see you again, Master.
Emilie? Is that you? Oh, it's been years. Look at you. You're all grown up. I've heard you've become quite the famous perfumer in Fontaine. It would seem the student has surpassed the master.
Oh, well, it's all thanks to your mentorship.
Ah, hardly. I taught you the basics. Hearing you call me master, well, I'm not sure I'm deserving of that title. I've taught many students here in Sumeru over the years, but I've yet to see one turn out quite as accomplished as you. You're the only one who can take credit for that success. And who are these two? I don't recall you mentioning them in your letter.
Ah, they're my new friends, the Traveler and Paimon.
Emilie's friends. Well then, the pleasure is all mine.
And these two gentlemen? Are they friends of yours, Master?
Of course! We're perfume merchants from Fontaine. I'm Oud, and this here is my younger brother, Blaze.
Yeah, I don't trust these people.
The two of us are old friends. Isn't that right, gentlemen?
I don't trust these guys, huh?
Merchant brothers?
You must be here to look for the Auguste flower then.
Huh? Well, what respectable perfume merchant hasn't heard of Auguste? Anyone in the business would be interested in the rumors.
I'm guessing you're here for the same reason, Emilie. We were just about to get into it, so you three might as well join in. I commissioned a few eremites to do some scouting for me. They searched all over Sumeru, but there were no sightings of the Auguste flower. That being said, there are people in Port Ormos who claim to have smelled a unique fragrance on the streets. Definitely floral, but still distinct. Some of them were merchants who lived in Fontaine 20 years ago. According to them, the fragrance smelled exactly like the Auguste they remember from back then. A one-of-a-kind, divine, and noble scent.
Maybe someone around here just happens to have a bottle of Auguste from back then.
No, I don't think so. I doubt that's the case. Even if someone had a bottle that was never opened, the fragrance of the perfume would have changed over time. Very few perfumes can go decades without a change in scent. Auguste is even more prone to that kind of shift. Only a few bottles still exist in Fontaine, and their scent would have completely degraded by now. Although, could there be a flower out there with a similar fragrance? Or in accord with the same base notes?
Impossible! If Auguste were that easy to replicate, it would never have sold for such a high price all those years ago. The Auguste flower is back. It has to be.
Technically speaking, the scent wouldn't be impossible to imitate.
Well, let's table that question for now. Edgar, did any of those people mention where the scent was coming from?
No. By the time they realized they had smelled something, the scent was already gone. If I hadn't asked about it, they probably wouldn't have given the experience a second thought. Compared to things we see and hear, smells can be much easier to overlook.
It almost sounds like someone wearing the Auguste fragrance passed them on the street.
Wait, are you saying...
Just thinking out loud. Don't pay me any mind.
We don't have much to go off of right now, but we can't rule out that possibility. I'll send some more people to investigate. You all traveled so far to be here. Why don't you rest in the hotel for a bit? Oud, Blaze, this is the key to your room.
Ooh, you've got the keys to the rooms? Do we get free lodging too?
My apologies. All the rooms in the hotel are accounted for, I'm afraid. Most are being used for storage ahead of the exhibition, you see. I managed to tidy up one of the rooms for these two at the last minute, but by the time Emilie wrote to me, there was no more space left for her to stay.
Oh, and we just showed up out of the blue. Guess that means there's definitely no space for us.
I should have been more considerate. Here I am with an entire hotel at my disposal and no place to offer you to stay, even after you made the trip all the way to Sumeru.
Don't worry, Master. I can sleep on the boat tonight, or I could even camp in the wild. It would
Beg your
give me
pardon?
an opportunity to collect some plant specimens while I'm here in Sumeru. Even better. Although, would it be possible for me to leave some of my luggage here? It would be rather cumbersome to take it camping. It shouldn't take up too much space.
Well, about that.
Japan. Oh.
Of course, no trouble at all. My brother and I will keep an eye on them for you, as long as you don't mind, mademoiselle.
All right, then. Oud, why don't you take Emilie inside and find a suitable place for her luggage? I'll prepare some refreshments and join you in a bit.
What's going on here?
Always not a good time for guests.
That's interesting. Would it mean we could enter this place?
Whoa, the smell of flowers is so strong. Didn't Edgar say he tidied up around here? Hyman took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers. Looks like this exhibition is gonna be huge.
No, that's a florist thing. We work closely with the essential oils of various plants, but to maintain a sharp sense of smell, most perfumers prefer to keep their homes free of strong odors.
Oh, guess there's just too much to store for the exhibition then.
Oh, this room seems to be a connected suite, and my brother will be staying on the other side of the suite. Blaze, while you're out, why don't you bring our luggage over as well? Blaze!
Yes, of course.
What is going? I know they're not brothers, but
Where can we find your luggage, madam?
he did say Blaze, and Blaze was just
Fetch it for you.
unless his real name isn't Blaze.
It's still at the port. In addition to some daily necessities, there's also a case of amber wine that I brought back from Fontaine. Could I trouble you to bring that back as well? It would be the perfect way to repay you for your hospitality.
How generous. I should thank you on my brother's behalf. You've stumbled upon his weakness. He's aloof about most things, but alcohol is his one true love.
Is that so? Mr. Ood, Mr. Blaze,
What would you even know about wine, traveler? Are you a wine connoisseur?
That's Master's voice.
Where is Blaze? In this room? Oh, we can enter people's room. And there's multiple doors. Huh? As an exit. Anything we could pick up on? So only Blaze. I'm guessing this is his room. And this is Edgar. Is it? It's not. Oh, it's Ed. Edu. I have no idea how you pronounce that. But you have Blaze on one side, connecting rooms. Not really a big hotel. Like he made it seem like he had a really large hotel. So there are 2 rooms in this hotel.
Edgar!
Master!
Hey, Edgar. Are you all right?
Kyria. August.
Hey, Edgar?
Kyria?
Edgar!
Is this
No,
Death
don't
Note?
shoot him. He's injured. Just leave him to me. You two can... Oh, thank you.
You mean, oh, thank you? Shouldn't you be getting the police involved?
I hope we're not too late.
Everyone hold hands.
Would have been cool if he had some kind of internal dialogue. Huh?
Is it coming from this bottle? Oh, really?
Is it a ghost?
Do you think whoever did this was hiding in the flap?
I checked. It doesn't look like anyone passed through here.
Oh, but that's impossible. It's not like that kid can just grow some wings and fly away.
What kid?
Oh, the culprit, I mean. It's not like the culprit could have just disappeared into thin air.
Well, we looked all over, but the only clue we found was that bottle.
The most important thing we can do now is focus our efforts on treating Master. Can you help me move him inside?
So, how's he doing?
When I administered emergency treatment, I discovered a residue in his nose and mouth. Master was most likely forced to ingest a certain liquid. He's still unconscious, and inducing vomiting could obstruct his airways. We'll have to look into other clues for now. Ah, yes. The scent is the same, but the chemical composition is still unclear. We'll have to do further tests to determine if it's the same liquid and how toxic it is to the human body. But first, I do believe there are two people who could shed some light on the situation. Mr. Sylvain, Mr. Lucien.
Wait,
What?
Hey! Were you talking to us, mademoiselle? I'm afraid we've never heard of...
Alright, guys, the jig is up. We know who you are.
Before arriving in Sumeru, I asked a friend from the Special Patrol to look into the creators of Auguste. There were 4 people in total. The perfumer, Edgar, the one thrust into the limelight, and 3 others. A researcher from
5?
Sumeru responsible for cultivating the Auguste flower, and 2 merchant brothers responsible for promoting the
Oh, they're
flower
really
on the
brothers, huh?
market.
Oh, that's why I didn't respond to the name.
Capitalize on the mythos surrounding Auguste.
Because the
Their
blaze.
actions lured in numerous speculators and profiteers, inflating the price of Auguste.
I just didn't think they. I think they're more like. I thought they more likely lied about being brothers, rather than the names. But it turns out it was the names that they lied about than not being brothers, and they were actually our brothers.
And what does that have to do with us? There are countless merchant families in Fontaine. You gonna accuse them of being criminals too?
Every time your brother called you Blaze, it took you several seconds to respond. But when I called you Lucien just now, the name registered immediately.
Ah, Miss Emilie, out of respect for your position as a famous perfumer in Fontaine, I'm inclined to believe that was simply a poor attempt at humor. You have a bright future ahead of you. You wouldn't want to develop a reputation as someone who throws around false accusations, especially among merchant circles.
You claim to be regular perfume merchants, and yet, when I brought up amber wine, you took it to be alcohol.
What?
Amber wine is a perfume I created several years ago. It wasn't particularly renowned, but I'm certain any respectable perfume merchant in Fontaine would know of it. Unless, until recently, they were living somewhere completely cut off from the perfume world. Somewhere like the Fortress of Meripede, perhaps?
Emilie, you little...
You little what? What the hell are you gonna say? Seriously, we need a bit of sorta.
Mr. Sylvain, I don't bring this up to criticize you. No matter what happened all those years ago, the court has already passed its judgment. But Master's life is in danger. We need to learn whatever we can about the person who has done this.
What's going on here?
If Master's attack had something to do with Auguste, I would imagine the 2 of you might also be in danger. So I'd like to trouble you for some information, if I may. Tell me about Kyria.
Yeah, her glasses have no frames.
Fine, as you wish.
Sylvain?
Lucien, if this will help us find Kyria, then it will be all worth it. Besides, we've already told most of the stuff to the Maison Orderly anyway. You were right, Miss Emilie. There were 4 of us at the beginning. Myself, Lucien, Edgar, and a researcher from Sumeru in charge of flower cultivation, Vijava. Sometime down the road, the Marechaussee Phantom came knocking. saddled us with a list of accusations, and started looking into our books. Oh, they did their meddling, and my brother Edgar and I were forced to serve time in the fortress as a result.
Sounds like he's still upset about that.
Why wouldn't he?
Wait, then how did Edgar end up in Sumeru?
Master was convicted as an accomplice, so he only had to serve a few years. He decided to move to Sumeru so that he could put those events behind him. Still, Master was depressed for a long time after that. He stopped making new perfumes and focused on introducing students to the craft instead. That's how I met him. My parents had to relocate to Sumeru for work when I was a child, so I had the chance to study under him for a little while. But we can talk about that some other time. I want to hear more about this researcher, Vijava.
Like us, Vijava was also staring down an investigation from the Marechaussee Phantom. But before the Phantom showed up at her door, she set all the flower beds on fire, along with much of the mora we managed to earn. All the Auguste flowers, everything we worked to create.
But destroying all that evidence, wouldn't that make things worse for her?
It didn't matter at that point, because she died in the fire as well.
What?
Sounds like you did an investigation of your own. Why even ask us if you knew all of this already?
The name wasn't mentioned in any of the files I reviewed either, but you two seem quite familiar with him.
Kyria was Vijava's younger brother. He was just a clueless kid back then. Somewhere in his teens, I think. He helped his sister with her work sometimes, but that was pretty much it. He didn't have any idea what we were doing. Vijava kept him close most of the time. The three of us were probably the only ones who even knew she had a brother. After our operation was compromised,
So, you think Kyria took something with him back then? Something that allowed him to reproduce the Auguste flower?
Vijava doted on the kid like you wouldn't believe. She even told us to give her cut to her brother if anything happened to her. If she left something behind before she died, believe me, Kyria's the one that has it.
and judging by the liquid in that bottle, the Auguste flower wasn't the only thing he reproduced. He managed to replicate the perfume itself.
So the liquid Edgar was forced to ingest really was Auguste. Wait, does that mean Auguste is poison?
Poison? No. Of course not. No perfume is meant to be ingested. Even small amounts can be dangerous, let alone ingesting a whole bottle at once. If Auguste could be considered a poison, we wouldn't have even sold half a bottle back then. Edgar fell unconscious because Kyria forced him to drink perfume. It just happened to be Auguste. He probably thought we had something to do with his sister's death. But to tell you the truth, I have no idea why she did all that. We're not looking for Kyria because we have it out for him. We just wanted to see how he was doing. And, if possible, work together to bring back a ghost. We only went to prison for a bit of fraud and market manipulation. It had nothing to do with the product itself. As long as we keep things honest this time around, bringing the product back to market would almost be like honoring his sister's memory.
So that's why you never mentioned Kyria during your interrogation?
Yes, exactly. We were just looking out for the kid.
Anyway, that's all we know. If you're looking for information on what's in a goose, or what to do if you ingest it, there are only two people to ask. Edgar or Kyria himself.
Well, at least we're able to say for certain that the substance Edgar ingested was in fact a goose. That gives us a direction for further testing. Well then, I'd say that was a very enlightening discussion.
Well, glad to hear it. Lucian, let's head back to the room and rest a bit. With everything that's happened, there are things that need reconsidering.
Yes, of course.
Huh, you think so too? That does seem to be the case. But based on Sylvain's tone of voice just now, I suspect further questioning will only result in more made-up answers.
The way you exposed them like that, just based on a hunch, that was genius! Oh, right! Earlier you said you were only sort of a doctor, and that your patients were unusual.
Oh yes, that's because most of the patients I encounter are already dead.
So you're a forensic doctor?
Close. I'm actually a forensic cleaner. Once the forensic team and the Marechaussee Phantom are done collecting evidence from the scene, I'm in charge of clearing away the final traces my patients leave on the world. In fact, with just a small alteration to the formula, the same tincture used as the base of perfume can also be made into a cleaning agent. Basically, there are two sides to forensics. Those who collect evidence to expose the truth, and those who clean up the smells, bloodstains, and other substances left behind at the scene. I've learned a lot in my line of work, and I've witnessed a lot of death. But this time, we may still save the patient. Actually, Traveler, could I trouble you to report back to Tainari and the officers at Port Ormos? I'll stay here and continue to look after Master. Now that we have a sample of Auguste, I'm hoping further analysis won't be too difficult. I hope we're not too late.
The Auguste flower. A mysterious species.
Everyone hold hands!
This exhibition is exhausting.
Whoa! Why the rush? Did something happen?
What? Edgar was attacked? He's the most famous perfumer in the region. Someone who's helped countless people around Port Ormos. How could this happen?
Sheriff, have you received any reports of a suspicious individual fleeing through the bazaar?
No, but we've got eyes all over the area. I'm sure someone's seen Kyria. I'll start gathering my forces. We won't let him get away.
What about you, Tainari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene, and I doubt Emilie needs my help looking after Mr. Edgar.
But she said she's not a real doctor.
Then she was far too modest. She may not be a doctor by trade, but she has a deeper understanding of human anatomy and pharmacology than most scholars from the Amorta Darshan. Not to mention the fact that Mr. Edgar's condition is related to perfume. As for me, I'll head to the academia and see what I can learn about...
Oh, that's right! Vijava was supposed to be a scholar from Sumeru. Do you recognize the name?
From Emilie's letter, certainly, but that was the first time I'd heard of it. The academia produces a lot of scholars, and there are plenty of graduates who choose to pursue a career outside their darshan. I didn't have time to look into it earlier, but now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom of what happened to Mr. Edgar. I have friends in Sumeru City that can help me investigate. With any luck, we'll have news to share by tomorrow. I'll leave you and Emilie to watch over.
Okay, quick. Is that knuckleweed from Inazuma in the background? I just realized. Like some of these, like this is Grassley from. Like some of these are from. Hey, this guy.
Seems I am pretty capable.
Is this guy the guy we're looking for? A couple of these flowers are from here. Well, they're from outside of Sumeru.
Well, it's been a day. Wonder if Tainari's discovered anything. But things weren't looking good with Emilie's master yesterday. We should check on things at the hotel first.
Booba.
Emilie!
No longer in critical condition, thankfully. He's still very weak, but with a bit more rest, he should regain consciousness soon. My chemical analysis of Auguste also went smoothly, although it certainly raised some questions. I was able to identify the components that give the substance its fragrance, but I also noticed an abnormal trace of elemental energy in the sample.
Elemental energy?
Hard to say. It was such a minute amount, proportionally speaking, like mixing a single drop of perfume into the ocean. I had to use one of the newest tests developed in recent years to even detect the traces present in the sample. Unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental energy, I doubt it would have any effect, even if you use the product every day for 10 years. As for whether Master's condition was caused by the elemental energy present in the sample or some other component of the perfume, it's still too early to say.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. Did Tainari come and find you? Maybe we could ask him to take a look.
I received a message from him last night, but I haven't heard anything since. The message said he was looking into some information at the academia.
Oh!
How do you receive a message in Genshin Impact?
First. Excuse me? Is Miss Emilie here?
Hey, it's Cole.
Oh, perfect! Familiar faces! Traveler, Paimon, you're here
Hey, everybody's Dendro in the story quest.
Tainari's apprentice.
Any
He's
weird
mentioned her
pyro?
many times. And please, no need for formalities. Emily is just fine.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you too, Miss, Did Tainari send you here, Kale? Yep. Master and the others went through decades worth of records last night, and still haven't had a chance to rest. I'm fast on my feet, so it only made sense for me to come and give you an update.
What?
Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, they believe there's no indication that a researcher by the name of Vijava ever passed through the academia.
Still crazy to me. Like, I'm looking at the Kole and I'm like, remembering what she was like in the manga. She was all antsy, all bandaged up, angry at the world.
Master considered that possibility as well, but the name wasn't the only dead end.
Possessed by an evil spirit, I think.
Similar research direction or background, but
Man, we have to beat the doctor's ass.
how is that possible?
It's starting to seem very likely. If we want to figure out her true identity, I'm afraid another conversation with those two merchants.
Hey! Lucian!
It's Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Curio came back, dude?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel just...
Here we see inside.
I see everything.
No, she does not see everything. You lying little girl.
It's locked?
There's no one here.
Lucian! Lucian!
That's Sylvain's voice! Hurry, let's check next door!
So if I cast the burst here,
Overdue.
and I go into this room, does Ganyu burst follow?
Lucian! Lucian! Come on!
No, it doesn't.
Emilie, Emilie, my brother, he's gonna be okay, right?
Did Sylvain do this?
He's just unconscious.
Would it make sense?
Sorry, Mr. Sylvain. But we were too late this time.
What?
No, that's not... That's...
Somebody died?
Kale, Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge shock. He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother's body like this.
Of course. Leave it to me.
What?
Both.
Cole is taking on some big tasks right now.
Mr. Sylvain, let's get you up. We'll take things from here. Just focus on getting some rest.
That's impossible.
This way.
Like, his brother survived the fortunes of Meripita. But, couldn't survive, what, 2-3 days? Less than a week in Sumeru?
He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but...
Good person or bad, the death of a loved one is equal. All the moments he shared with his brother, every hardship and triumph they...
If Curio really was behind this, then...
Curia.
What exactly did he do?
I keep thinking about, Curio from, Death Note.
Traces left behind by his death. Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene. I'll leave you to...
Still have no idea what's going on though, like who we're trying to, like, basically we have no leads, that's what I'm trying to say.
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is still up in the air, and how
Man,
this happens.
Emilie's legs go on for miles.
Miss Emilie, I heard you're an experienced forensic doctor. Have you been able to discover anything?
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I just happen to have some relevant knowledge. I did take a look, though. Judging by the temperature and rigidity of the body...
You're a kid, girl.
The time of death was sometime last night. I'd have to do a more thorough investigation to find...
Then, would you mind helping us investigate? Before he left, Tainari said we could trust your judgment if something like this were to happen.
Of course.
If what is Tainari killing them?
Many of the traces left behind at the scene will fade with time, so
like how did Tainari know
investigate the better.
that stuff like this might happen?
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can.
We know
look
about Dead Village also. Because we've killed a lot, huh?
To tell you the truth, the exhibition has left us quite short-handed. It's just one problem after another.
Did he pass away while he was unconscious?
Everyone hold hands.
Oh wow, we can't even look at his body. Yeah, he's dead, huh?
Pass away while he was unconscious?
Wait a minute, did it poison? Well, I did see this fragrance thing. Wait a minute, what? I thought we were supposed to analyze the door. I didn't know we could just leave. And if we are supposed to analyze the door, why would it allow you to exit so easily? Can you see the arrow? Because you have door and exit. Yeah, we are supposed to analyze the door.
And the windows are shut tight too.
Wait a minute, he was poisoned by this incense. We figured it out, huh? It was poisoned by the incense.
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
Is Paimon gonna put on her glasses?
But entering through the room next door without alerting Sylvain... Wait, you don't think Sylvain could have been...
No, his reaction to the loss of his brother seemed genuine.
Then what could have happened last night? I know Sylvain is still in shock, but he's our own...
I agree. Also, I've made some new discoveries, so we might as well head next door and go through everything.
Kill Blaze, or whatever the hell his real name is.
This might hurt a little.
Mr. Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you and your brother did since yesterday afternoon. Did you see or hear anything strange?
After Kyria attacked Edgar, my brother and I were incredibly careful. We returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors leading to the hallway. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connecting our rooms. That way, if we heard any commotion coming from the other room, we could help each other. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this morning, opened the door, and Lucian was...
So, no movement from the room next door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene.
It's
no
the incense.
injury on Lucian's body.
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucian's pupils were dilated and his skin was flushed, very similar to Master's symptoms after the attack yesterday. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or nose, so it's unlikely he was forced to ingest anything. The more plausible explanation is that he inhaled a substance without knowing it, and I'd say that substance was likely a goose.
Serious? How is a goose killing people now?
No, that's not possible. Inhaling a goose won't kill you. And then, no, that's not what I meant. Go on, tell everyone whether you found it.
No, I didn't find any common toxins.
See? A goose is harmless.
It is.
Market response proved that years ago.
Exactly, that no one has died from it.
That may be true for most people, but not for everyone.
What? How is there no report of that in Fontaine? And Emilie has no idea about it. Also, like, there's a green glow from the door. It's a lot of effort got put into this entire like aesthetic of Sumeru. Like you actually have a green glow from the door, like the sun is shining in.
Sylvain, no matter how hard you may try to hide it, the truth will always.
No, it didn't come to light because Emilie had no idea a gust could kill people.
Even if we could keep it a secret for another 10 or 20 years, do you think Kyria would just let us be?
Kyria.
He would never give
Isn't Kyria, like, I keep mentioning Death Note because the main protagonist went by Kyria. So, Yelana? Was that what? I was about to say, what's Yelan doing over here?
That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was an exiled Fatus from Snezhnaya.
Oh no, Cole having trauma.
Well, that means the elemental energy present in Auguste was...
What?
So you've already detected...
A delusion?
Well, Sylvain, looks like there's truly no reason to hide things now.
Oh.
The Auguste flower was created with the mutative and distorting power of a delusion.
A delusion?
The Fatui, delusions... I never would have thought Auguste was hiding this many secrets.
Born of a delusion, Auguste contained distorted elemental energy. A prolonged exposure over many years could have a harmful effect on the body.
Was there no record of this, huh?
Edgar, I'll take it from here. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume.
So who's the one killing you guys? Clearly he's not from Sumeru.
How long the
Her brother.
mania was going to last back then. It didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway.
So only people with visions?
Going to market was another day of lost.
So you decided poisoning people was worth the risk?
Listen,
Come on, Paimon, you can understand.
for business.
We want the money. Well, he wants the money. Man, look at his collar. The low resolution on his collar is crazy.
Was practically negligible.
It's so pixelated and not straight. It's all crooked and shit.
Unless you were particularly sensitive to elemental energy or had an entire bottle shoved down your throat like Edgar. You could
So why was your brother like susceptible to elemental energy?
It may be true there are
Was it from years of using Auguste or producing it?
But even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing a product to market despite explicit knowledge of its harmful effects is still a serious crime.
And not one person was harming Fontaine, damn.
That's why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kyria's involvement a secret all this time, despite readily confessing to all your financial crimes. The Fatui, delusions, Auguste. If the Maréchaussée Phantom discovered the connection between the three, there would have been enough evidence to send you to the Fortress of Meripede for life.
Man,
if I'd known
Emily's kind of thick.
would put a target on my
Despite not really being thick, huh?
more than happy to stay there. At least that way, Lucian would still be alive. All these years without any sign of Kyria, and he pops up out of nowhere.
So who is
the minute
Kyria?
my brother and I get out of prison? It couldn't be any clearer who the kid's after. Auguste was harmless before. The fact that it's killing people all of a sudden.
So there's bad blood between you.
What about Yelena's death?
Bad blood, huh?
A way to destroy evidence?
I'll admit, we thought about it at one point.
God damn, dude.
We took care to disguise the products circulating on the market, and no one was questioning Yelena's fake butt.
So, did Yelena kill herself?
Decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's ties to the Fatui, the role of the delusion, everything. Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself. Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't everything she did.
So who's
One of
Kyria?
the reasons they defected from the F2P
Oh, they
was
defected?
the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use of a delusion. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower.
So, she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of
If her true identity was exposed, she and the Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash.
So the wealth you earned from Auguste, it wasn't destroyed in the fire?
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother.
So she gonna leave everything in?
Didn't realize she meant our as well.
One Piece.
That's why Lucien and I were searching for Kyria to take back Armora and the Auguste flower.
I left everything in One Piece.
Didn't realize Kyria was baiting us.
And now we all set out to sail. Set out to sail the ocean to find her. One Piece.
Kyria out for revenge anyway. Doesn't he know?
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance. She kept herself busy with
Then all we'll need to do is tell Kyria what really
Kinda too late for that. He kinda killed somebody already.
I'm not so sure.
Oh.
Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate a goose.
Oh man.
Something like that.
One day, Cole, we're gonna go and kick the doctor's ass. Maybe I should level Cole up for the day we fight the doctor.
Especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
So I could
very true.
kick his ass.
Even if Yelena's death was her own choice, I wouldn't call myself innocent either.
Edgar!
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, if we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of the flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have if we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother.
Man, are you talking about this like your brother didn't just die?
We were just trying to earn a bit of moral. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But Lucien's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay?
Well, based on what Emilie said earlier, yes. You'd have been stuck in Mary Peter for life, huh? If they knew what you did.
Fine. I've said my piece.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya, and a crime committed in Port Ormos. Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. With the exhibition, we don't even have space in Port Ormos to detain anyone.
Don't have
could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep, although with Sylvain's mental state...
What about you?
My physical one, I don't think you need to worry.
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I'd just like to take care of a few things before I go. As for Sylvain, I'm sure he also has some good Would you be willing to grant that request?
Well, all right. I'll talk to the man we grew to know in Sumeru proved himself to be a good person.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
Man, Cole is like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Oh, you mean the possibility that Kyria might try to finish what he's...
Yeah, all we know is that he uses a goose to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act. If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of this situation? And
Master, no. That's too
So, if Kyria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, in other words, you want to use us as
capture? Not necessarily.
afraid? This is my only chance to make him pay for what I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't just sit back and let him ride off into the sunset with our fortune.
Yeah, this is more like it, though.
I'm letting him get away with it. Not. As for the danger, everyone else just needs to make preparations in advance.
I'll admit, it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist on...
I'll also keep watch.
Wait, Cole, go home.
Although I think
You've dealt enough with the F2P.
should remain alone in our respective. If Kyria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides, it's...
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using a...
If that were to happen, everyone's standing guard. Even...
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
Man, this is a very crazy story. Dude, and you're on death's door.
You need to rest.
Any more ghosts in your system and you're just dead, huh?
This old pack of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to. I suppose I'll just have to leave the rest to you.
Dude, are you gonna die?
We can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up. Start spreading that information.
Okay, Scooby-Doo, let's stick together. I don't know why you want to split shit up, huh? That's always the answers. Let's split up. Say, nah, man. Let's stick together. So I went around telling everybody these people are about to get the transfer to Fontaine. And then he go tell more people.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
Surprised email implied that the traveler has the capacity to speak.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
Find out next time on Mr. Edgar's Secret to Evil. Or good, I don't know what to say.
Talking about the rumors. No matter where Kyria is hiding, he must have heard them by now. Let's head back to the hotel and take a break. We can see how the other preparations are going while we're at it.
Yeah, this is the one time you actually get to hear people's voice. Hey, it's two danger girls.
Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the night watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here, I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I couldn't help but notice that something seems to be on your mind.
Was it that obvious?
You seem very preoccupied with Kyria's revenge.
Because she wants revenge against the doctor, and I can't blame her.
I'm happy to listen.
Oh.
What do you mean, you're a psychologist and a forensic? Well, you're fake in both regards, but still.
Oh, are we interrupting something?
Yeah, so yes, we are. They're about... Emily's about to get her to open up about their past.
This will be easier to talk through with you here anyway. I've just been thinking. If Kyria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, Why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucian?
Was he using the incense in the room?
Just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. Don't you think? When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucian died, and saw how distraught he was, I suddenly realized, maybe Kyria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge.
So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucian?
Cole's cooking.
Based on what we've heard about Kyria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? What has he been forced to endure? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, would I be able to let go of that hatred? I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that. Not after everything he's done. But I just can't help it.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. Empathy is a part of human nature. In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation and anger still echo through my mind, even now. Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones.
Wow.
But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. Allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, and you lose the ability to think rationally. So while you hold on to that sense of empathy, you also need to ask yourself, do Sylvain and Lucian really deserve to die? How much
Hell
do
no.
you truly know about the F2P and the delusion?
They deserve to serve their time in the Fortress of Merpy, which is frankly not that bad.
Those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single act of vengeance can put those answers forever out of our reach. I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred from the traces left behind at the scene. But generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered, and the whole picture ever incomplete.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kyria,
But seriously, the name Kyria keeps reminding me of Death Note. And in both situations, they're both trying to kill people.
Can approach these questions from this perspective,
Using very stealthy tactics.
rational than them.
Whereas Kyria was more magical in nature. Using the Death Note.
But that also makes us perfectly
This guy's
positioned
using
to stand on the
perfume.
outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too late. I understand Kyria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kyria. They all deserve to survive.
Huh. The fortunate and the unfortunate.
Emilie, traveler. Huh? Edgar, you're here too?
What? This guy sound like the guy from Family Guy, the cop? I'm pretty sure he's playing Genshin Impact.
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru. So I'd like to take care of my plants while I still can.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown attached to these flowers, and this is my last chance to say goodbye. Come tomorrow. I'll be happy to entrust their care to you. I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more important reason.
The Night Watch! You mentioned earlier that we still need to confirm our plans.
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard. Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of being attacked next. You're the most skilled fighter here, Traveler. And Emilie's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you two stationed next to Sylvain's room. So, are you up for it?
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll be glad to have your help tonight, Traveler.
Is he coming with the army? Like, what is going on here?
I wonder how it really felt for Kiria. Finally getting his revenge.
Okay, Cole, we're gonna get revenge to the Doctor. Don't worry. Just give us a couple of years, maybe this year or next. Probably this year. We're gonna run into the Doctor, start kicking ass and taking name.
I'll head into the mountains to keep an eye on everyone coming in and out of the area. Just leave the wilderness surveillance to the forest rangers.
All right. Flowers, man, to think. All this over. Well, it's not really over perfume.
We can't let Kiria get away. Shouldn't you be standing guard in the room next door? I would hate for Kiria. Shouldn't you be standing guard in the room next door?
An abandoned ship, huh?
Huh. Not a peep. Has Kiria given up on his revenge? Guess we'll have to keep... Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Perhaps Kiria's true motive was simply forcing... No, that can't be right. If all he wanted was for Sylvain to be convicted for his true crimes, there must be something we're missing.
Maybe we just need to calm down a little. How about some tea? That herbal blend... You're right. Maybe we can look for a different distraction then, like looking at... Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
Flowers, clay... Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Wait, what?
Hey, did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
It was the older of them.
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
Murdered? Another person died?
That merchant named Lucian and now this.
Listen up, everyone. This is an active crime scene. Please, no loitering.
It's been 3 days and they haven't even caught a glimpse of the guy. What is going on?
Do you think it could be the work of an... I mean, how do you get away with something like that with so many people watching?
Keep it moving, everyone. No loiter.
Seriously, is the Death Note in Genshin Impact real? So this is straight up Death Note type of bullshit. So 2 down, 1 to go. You would think we'd be able to save him, given how close we got to him, how quickly we got to him.
Already attacked you once, and you survived. Perhaps he doesn't consider
You were the only reason I managed to survive, Emilie.
Even if I wasn't there, Tainari was also in the vicinity.
You wouldn't have showed up, huh?
I suppose I'm a very
And then again, we were right next to Lucian when he died, so...
caring friends, and but Kiria has nothing. It really makes you wonder.
And we weren't even able to save Lucian despite being so close.
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kiria himself, once we finally catch...
Well, I hope it all goes well. Emilie, there's something else I'd like to ask, but so many flowers were transported here for the show. Some of them, thousands. Whether Kyria gets to me first, I know it's a lot to ask.
Of course, Master.
Really? Now I truly...
Sheriff Sham still has some questions for me.
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting.
Man, this story's getting dragged out, I'm not gonna lie. I guess right now. It'd be crazy if Emily's the one killing them.
Another all-nighter. Paimon sure hopes Emily's plan will go well. Oh. Emily still isn't back. I hope she didn't run into any trouble. Yeah, that's true.
Traveler, I had my men start spreading the information you requested. The crowd is gone now, too. After listening to Emily's plan, I started getting the materials together and arranging personnel. To be honest, I'm still not sure how the crime was committed that night.
The key clue was right in front of us the entire time! Let's go! We'll show you where the culprit hid a goose.
Wait.
I only have a basic idea of what happened.
Ah, so, you're saying I'm the only one who...
Okay, because I'm betting was the incense. Because only one who... Well, then again. Only one womb.
Please, no more surprises.
I was actually looking forward to it.
Hey, what's going on, Federal?
Finally gone.
Just
Can we even go forward with the exhibition?
running through Emily's story quest while I check out this. Wife over here. She has lipstick. Is that lipstick? Interesting. Yeah, Peglin got the update today. I won with one of the new relics. That sounds like cheating. That wasn't in the game before. So can that victory really count? If you have to be relying on things to make the game easier.
Another all-nighter. Paimon sure hopes Emily's plan will go well. Emily still isn't back. I hope she didn't... Yeah.
Traveler, I had my
What
men
happened?
spreading the information you requested. After listening to Emily, to be honest, I'm still...
The key clue was right in front of us the... Let's go. We'll show you where the culprit...
Wait a minute, can you hear me? Is my mic working? Did I fuck something up? Cause I was calling you a cheater earlier. Yeah, I'm saying the new ones are the ones that are allowing you to win. The ones you didn't have before. So I think that virtue could count. You have to use the old stuff. Seriously, where am I supposed to go? Every time I leave the room, don't tell me it restarts the conversation with the Cole. It does restart the conversation with Cole. I'm messing up, but yeah, my point of what I'm trying to make is that I imagine this relic only exists for people with skill issues. And that's probably why it helped you win, despite not being able to win any game yesterday. Or maybe you prayed to Cat God.
Wasn't this incense originally in Lucien's room?
Exactly, it's the incense. Doesn't even count cheating if anything is made it. It harder since I had no experience using it.
Blaze Lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before. It's a flower.
I don't know, man. The fact that it's allowed you to win it?
It only blooms at night.
Finally, you're back.
Exactly as expected.
A flower that only blooms at night.
Does it release pollen, though?
Like the Neelit Pala.
Exactly. Although the Neelit Pala lotus wouldn't be a good substitute in this scenario. That's why Kyria chose the glaze lily as his mechanism. He would start by preparing.
I hate this part of Genshin Impact, where you have to basically play this dumbass game.
There's a sticky substance on the edge of the flower petals.
Sure, there is a.
One I recognize.
Yeah.
If poured into the flower pot.
Yep. Surely, this is all stuff we recognize. And we're giving. And we're giving clues for all the bullshit. Yeah.
If applied to the outside.
I love this part of Genshin Impact.
Glaze lily, huh?
It's particularly in Sumeru, we have to do this dumb shit. Piece clues together.
Well,
this in Fontaine.
It only blooms at night.
And now I have to do this entire crap over again. Because I pressed circle, because I was trying to press X to move to a different thought bubble. But I'm stuck in this loop.
To the outside, you would. If poured into the. There's a sticky.
Oh, I would like to stick you.
That's right. He applied a diluted form of.
If I really wanted to cheat, I just boot up a custom game, start with the Sephiric Shield, a relic, normally not available in a normal game, which make you literally immune to all damage. I don't know, man. Maybe you have some kind of a policy for how far you're willing to cheat. Because clearly this relic changed everything.
So by nightfall, the flower would bloom, thereby forcing the target to inhale the Agoost trapped inside.
And Kyria could execute his revenge without having to step foot inside the room during the night.
Who's moving the flowers? Or the incense?
Would have nearly fully evaporated. The glaze lily would have already closed its petals, and any lingering odor would be.
But that's crazy, man.
The fragrance of the other flowers in the room.
This whole entire story, and in fact, the guy's called Kyria, is so reminiscent of a show called Death Note, where a character was able to write into a book and basically kill anyone whose name he wrote into that book. And the name of that character, at least the name he went by while he was doing the killings, was Kyria.
Wait a second.
So we have two Kyrias that are able to kill people using unconventional means.
That's because Agoost is just as dangerous now as it was all those years ago. The level of toxicity has never changed.
But these people
Only
are
a small subset of people are truly at risk.
those who have been around it a lot, though.
People who are sensitive to elemental energy.
But why would these two be?
So it's just some sort of happy coincidence that Sylvain and Lucien are allergic to the stuff?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
It has to be that they were around it for so much.
All those years ago. If the stuff gave them a bad reaction, they would have known from the very start.
I wouldn't use the word allergic necessarily. It's more like they're susceptible to its effects. But that
And they killed them so easily.
Right now, you can think of it this way. It's not that Sylvain and Lucien are innately sensitive to elemental energy, but that Kyria found a way to ensure that they would be.
The incense? It has to be this, huh?
In Sumeru.
Alchemically produced essential oil.
The relic was a double-edged sword. It made apply stronger debuffs to the enemies, but made my non-crit damage pretty much non-existent. I did have to adjust my build around it though. Wait a minute, see this build a lot of crit, and you avoid all the negativity. Seemed like it, not much of a debuff. Huh?
In Sumeru, it's not uncommon to use incense indoors.
I figured that incense is doing something.
Arouse suspicion. The flowers in the room could also serve to mask the scent.
Flowers were pretty important to this
See,
plan, huh? The glaze lily is native to Liyue. It would be completely unnatural to have one here in Sumeru if it weren't for the exhibition.
Actually, it's not a coincidence at all.
No wonder he was willing to pay a small fortune to rent out the hotel.
He probably used the mora Yelena left him, don't you think? That money was supposed to, but in the end, it was just a
There's a saying among forensic doctors in Fontaine.
Girl, I thought you weren't a forensic doctor. What do you have saying?
But up until this point, we haven't been able to detect any trace of Kiria's activities. That's not because he was coming and going undetected, but because he's been disguised as someone else this entire time.
Creating such an intricate mechanism out of a glitch, it all points to one person. Kiria and Edgar. The Mora spent, it all points to one person. The boy who inherited Yelena's legacy.
What? Isn't Edgar the old man?
But Kiria was only in his teens back then. He wouldn't even be 40 years old by now.
Well, guarantee. Oh.
He lived here for so many years. Even if he changed his appearance, going that long without.
Well, guaranteed a crit is anything but trivial in that game. I still had a ton of shots that did nothing. Interesting. Now you're just making excuses for the fact that you used a very overpowered relic to carry you through the game. It's okay, we all do that every now and then. I swipe in Genshin every now and then to carry me through the game, and you used to broken relics. We're the same in that regards. But yeah, what happens is when you use a delusion, you get old like TP. You get old like TP. So I'm guessing you're saying that the brother has been using delusion. But Edgar, did he willingly... The reason he's been getting sick is because he's been using the delusion. But it still doesn't make sense, like... So who was Edgar? Because the other two knew him. Lucian and Blaze, that's not their real name, but Lucian, other guy, his brother, they knew him, Edgar. And they saw... How would they not to know who Edgar was? So they met the brother and then met Edgar. It just doesn't make sense for them to be the same person at this point. How?
Bad news, Sheriff. Mr. Edgar was attacked.
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out of his room. It was giving off a really ominous, but before we could even react, the figure up and disappeared like some sort of ghost or something. By the time, do you think Kiria kidnapped him?
I need you to think very carefully about this. Are you certain that figure wasn't...
I mean, Mr. Edgar was so frail. I don't see how he could have moved that.
It would seem Master decided to tap into an ill-advised source of...
What? But that's so dangerous with the condition he's in.
Wait a minute, didn't Cole have a delusion?
But why? Why would he do that? He's already accomplished his revenge.
No. If his aim was to target everyone who had a hand in Yelena's death...
But himself,
He left Sylvain alive yesterday. Not out of a desire to see him suffer, but to confirm the truth about why Yelena chose to die.
Then there's still one target left.
The actual real Edgar? The one he's been pretending to be? And somehow still... I don't know how this makes sense. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator, and my partner immediately chased after them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
So you tell me there's two Edgars. What is going on here? I'm so confused.
Where in the world did he go? Let's ask the merchants nearby.
What was that thing?
That thing? What's that thing?
It's all right. Please calm down and take a deep breath.
I saw a black shadow.
Why can't it be a white shadow?
Right past me. How could something like that happen in broad daylight?
This is terrifying.
Bro, Grow.
This is terrifying.
This is terrifying. So this is what happened when you put a black character in Genshin's game. In Genshin Impact. I mean Hoyo's game, everybody start panicking. Say, oh my god, a black person. It makes sense why there's no black playable characters now. Makes complete sense. The entire freaking world panics. See, what is something like that doing in your game? Because shadows are the absence of light, so for them to be white, you need to bend the laws of the universe. Well, it's bright daylight, man. How can a shadow be moving?
Faint whiff of the scent from here. I would say he passed by this location not too. It's this way. Please.
That still doesn't make sense to me. Like, are we supposed to be using that jumping pad? And when do we start getting to use Emilie? Like, that's what usually happens in all these story quests. We get to use the character, Datsano. The story quest is about. Actually, maybe we're going to enter a cave. Because that's usually what happens with these story quests. You enter like a special one-time cave. And it seemed like we're close. Where are we supposed to be going?
The scent is getting stronger.
Yeah.
This must be the place.
There's always a one-time cave for these dumb shits. Always a one-time cave. Frankly, it's better than what Honkai Star Rail does. Honkai Star Rail just reuse the same assets over and over again. Whereas Genshin creates it brand new. Oogs.
Are you all right? Were you attacked?
What it looks like, girl.
No, I'm all right.
Is seriously what happened?
I was just chasing after that figure, and then all of it.
Let me take a look.
Was he poisoned?
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason, this feeling.
Seriously, Cole, what are you doing here?
Everything looks all right. It was probably just the stress of the chase, combined with the impact of the environment.
I can't rest. Mr. Edgar is still in there. He's a good man.
Dude, what?
I can't just abandon him to die by Curia's hand.
Why are you making perfume?
Calm down and listen to me. Edgar is the one we're after.
But
how?
How is that possible? I thought you said Curia was in his third. Mr. Edgar is 70-something. Changing your appearance to look decades older.
I know the delusions age you up, huh?
That's precisely why he had to resort to extraordinary measures to age himself.
A delusion?
Curia used a delusion to bring back the Auguste flower, corroding his body in the process, just like his older sister.
Still doesn't make sense, so where's the real Edgar?
Mr. Edgar has been in Port Ormos for years. If someone started impersonating him all of—
And what if the impersonation started before he ever set foot in Sumeru?
So did he kill the original Edgar before he came here?
I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Curia killed the real Edgar in Fontaine not long after his release.
Damn, that's crazy.
While Edgar was incarcerated, Curia started making preparations to replace him, including forcefully aging his body, studying perfumery, and
that's insane.
Edgar's demise. The new Edgar
Who forcefully aged himself up?
Sumeru, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go of the past. He even left perfume making in favor of mentoring students. But these decisions were all for a specific purpose: the need to distance himself from anyone who might see through the facade.
Well, the other two didn't see through the facade.
With no one around to question his identity, all he had to do was grow a beard, don a pair of glasses, make a few minor alterations to his appearance, and everyone would believe he was exactly who he claimed, Edgar, a perfumer from Fontaine.
Still doesn't make sense. The other two guys who knew Edgar couldn't recognize that this person looked nothing like Edgar. Like, how close could he look to the original Edgar?
As the years went by, he removed his disguise little by little and continued to refine his skills. It would have been a gradual process, one that ensured no one around him would notice anything unusual.
No one even know who Edgar looks like except those two guys.
Barely recognized Edgar back at the hotel. He aged himself decades beyond his years just so he could accomplish his revenge. Is that even worth it?
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not that kind of person. He
Girl,
can't be.
come on, dude, calm down.
What you really need is to get out of here and rest.
Exactly. Shut the fuck up about Edgar.
I can keep going.
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort, no matter how slight,
No.
should not be treated lightly.
Yeah, Cole
Leave your symptoms, Mr. Ooze.
been corrupted by the delusions for a long time now.
I'm sure Kyria... No, Edgar. Wouldn't want...
But seriously, this name Kyria really keeps reminding me of Death Note.
Always right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. From our brief exposure to a goose, it would seem the substance has little effect on us.
Which is weird, because you have elemental energy.
Or capable of wielding elemental power are more resistant to the effects of abnormal elemental energy. In other words, this environment doesn't pose as much of a risk to us.
Okay.
Actually, now that I think about it, this stronghold likely has multiple points of entry. If the target were to escape from a different point of entry, I hate to trouble you, but we need people.
Thanks. Hear that? We're heading out. There's work to be done.
Man, this Ogus guy would not let it go.
Gathering reinforcements.
Like, he's just obsessed with trying to prove Edgar's innocence.
Traveler, Emilie, Paimon, for someone whose only purpose in life is revenge, there's no telling what they'll do when there's no reason to move forward.
Seriously, Cole, one day we'll get revenge on the doctor for what he did to you.
This isn't the end. Not for us or for Kyria. We're not going to let a goose kill anyone else. It's time for the mythos to fade into obscurity.
All right, girl, let's cook, huh? But yeah, she's probably one of the most forgettable Genshin characters. Because they basically released her solely for this story quest. Outside of this story quest, she's not a character. She has no relevance. Like, the best way for Genshin to release characters is during major events. Like, we had Shiori came with the main event, where Ayaka came to Fontaine. Same thing for Chevreuse. And that's really the best way to introduce these characters. Just giving Emilie a story quest for herself doesn't really make her as memorable as, say, a character like Chiori. Because a lot of these characters' charm is how they interact with other characters. And right now, Emilie's purely a character for a character quest. Outside of that, she doesn't really have much else going on.
Monsters. Perhaps they were attracted here by the increased level of elemental energy.
Let's get it on! Ha!
I see everything.
I see all the things. You have zero privacy when Nahida around.
I've never seen these seeds before. They must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
That sounds dangerous. Huh? Seems to be avoiding us. And just magic critter and bridge. So what happens if I fall down here? And that's what happens. So that's why you should always be wary of where you're walking. That's interesting though. Usually when you die in one of these in Genshin Impact, it takes your elemental recharge. Well, it takes your elemental energy. As in your burst gets deleted. Noted. Alright, so you can't say I didn't teach you anything today. That's one thing you cannot say. Wait a minute, how does Paimon know what August looked like?
So many of them. Paimon can't believe a single person did all this. Must have taken a lot of time.
And it takes away HP too. True, true.
Using a delusion comes at a cost.
Yeah, we know. T-Pay.
But the time you have left to live.
But why would Kiria need this many Auguste flowers? He only needed a few bottles of Auguste to carry out his plan, right?
Perhaps hatred wasn't the only emotion fueling his Not long ago, he told me he didn't want all the flowers transported to Sumeru, but Kiria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his entire life in Sumeru under the guise of someone else.
Man, Snezhnaya is crazy.
For someone with nowhere to call home, perhaps dying among a bed of Auguste flowers just like his sister is the best homecoming he could ask for.
Fascinating. Really fascinating. So what do you think of this story quest? Did you expect Edgar to be the murderer? Did you already piece all the clues together? I assume a man of your talent, Federal, already figured everything out. I was just playing. Saying when are they going to reveal it's Edgar? So I could go do my Battle Cats daily. What the hell is going on here? For a second there, I thought that was permanently Stalker and had to restart the game. Man, these dungeons get crazier and crazier. Oh no, we gotta fight more slimes, huh? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Reconstitute! You ain't messing around. No touching.
All the touching. And now I have to make this thing walk the path.
We're way behind schedule.
We're way behind schedule. Calm down, Ganyu. I just got here. I'm still trying to figure out all the mechanics and the puzzle. No need to rush me. But yeah, as I was saying before, like
A plant that destroys seeds. Huh. Quite the ecological marvel. Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared.
So what am I supposed to do, Cole? Not Cole, I mean Emilie. Am I supposed to hit these things? Did it turn off? Just avoid the light, but the light is so bright, huh? It doesn't seem like it turns off, huh? Oh. I thought you just automatically go into the light. Oh man, what would I have done if Fredo wasn't here? That probably would take me 2 hours, so I probably have to Google a solution. It's just not straightforward, man. I thought I didn't have any control over where it went.
Is getting stronger. We're almost at the end.
I thought we just kept going. But see, there's a thing before. There was one of those sparkle things. But I guess probably didn't mean anything. But there was a thing with a triangle at the top that you could just walk over and it disappeared. Usually that leads you to a treasure chest. But maybe that was sufficient. Enough to get the original. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying, but it's hard to explain.
The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end.
Did they catch up that fast?
Dude, what is your deal, man?
My strength is just waning.
You did all this for nothing?
But it doesn't matter. This is far enough.
And he drank more of it? He drank... Alright, so what was this plan again? Because he could have died the first instance, right?
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena?
I don't understand how this played out, though.
Yelena! You tried to hide it from me.
So let me get this straight, though.
I always understood.
The first day we come, he drinks it. The Auguste.
The reason why you set your garden on
Which
fire,
could have killed him.
It was all because of me. I shouldn't have listened to you that day.
What if he had died the first day when he drank the Auguste?
Ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left.
What would have been his plan then?
The flowers were gone. And so were you. I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day. Yelena? Yelena! No! Don't leave me! Please! Yelena!
Oh, we saved his life? Oh? He's dead, huh? There's no way surviving this shit.
I saw her, Yelena. We were together.
Guy could barely talk, huh?
An illusion, likely brought about by the residual toxin in your body coupled with the pollen in the air, neither of which are fatal.
No.
No, delusion is fatal though.
I drank. It should have been enough.
Dude, you drank it twice too. Oh, she switched it out, huh?
How?
I remember she apologized to him earlier.
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind. To create a perfect accord.
Wait a minute, was she able to reproduce Auguste?
The product in its most primitive form. Ambergris mixed with cedar wood, rounded out with a base note of agar wood.
This is the scent of leather?
Hey, it's Emilie.
We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply one of a kind. That quality is what draws people in.
You literally figured out that he runs away from you. Yeah, but I don't know which direction. I thought it was like predetermined. I would have to turn off the lights. That's why I was having such a hard time piecing it together.
This fragrance will be one of a kind, no more. Myths can be deconstructed, miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience. The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar, capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as beautiful as flowers, and equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emilie?
I got it.
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, Master.
Whoa, what?
You switched the bottles of Auguste.
Sylvain is dead, yes, Master. For a second there, I think that's Emilie though.
Convincing you that your
But for a second there, I was like, wait a minute.
was the easiest way to get you to let down your guard.
Wait, is Sylvain actually dead?
Impossible. Even if you found a way to switch out the bottles, there's no way you could have made an accord. If Auguste was so easy to replicate, Yelena wouldn't have.
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those ingredients would have conflicted with each other if you tried to combine them in the past. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Damn, this guy dedicates his life to nothing.
Glaze lilies and Cecilias.
Auguste was created over 10 years ago. All this time, people never stopped analyzing it, never stopped trying to recreate it. Perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. We've found better ways to extract essential oils, separate oils and fats. We even discovered new ways to combine fragrances together. The mythos surrounding Auguste may have been untouchable almost 20 years ago, but now it's time for it to become a thing of the past.
The past?
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always known that it is possible to make an accord, even if only in theory. But the meaning you assigned to Auguste became so inflated, you allowed yourself to get lost in it, just like the perfume mania that captivated the public all those years ago. You believed in its divinity and grandeur. You believed it was entirely one of a kind. Your obsession with Auguste is also what allowed us to predict how you intended your plan to end and to make preparations in advance.
We just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
So is that other guy dead? Oh, they changed his name to Kyria.
Well, you hit the nail on the head now, didn't you? So, Sylvain isn't dead. Since you've been preparing your accord since last night, I assume you've also figured out my method, then. That means the news of Sylvain's death. The crowd gathered outside the hotel this morning. It was all an act you put on with the sheriff?
Yes. If we hadn't, you might have resorted to the delusion out of desperation, or continued to use your Spirit Borneal and Auguste combination to wreak havoc.
Who knows? Maybe I would have just offed myself then and there.
Seriously, why did you drink it the first day though?
You would carry the truth of Edgar's demise and the secrets of this garden to the grave, but I'm sorry, Master. I don't want to see any more death. Sylvain only inhaled a small amount of poison. He's being detained as we speak. All the crimes he concealed back then will be exposed in a court of law for everyone to see, and all his secrets will be revealed. The same goes for you as well.
Is that so? Well, I suppose I'll be spending the rest of my days in a prison cell then.
I don't know about that, man. It seemed like it kind of dead.
Kinda fast.
He was ready to die a couple minutes ago.
I don't feel the need to justify my actions, nor do I intend to repent for them. I did what I set out to do. I may have lost in the end.
No, he killed somebody though.
My choice every step of the way. And if I could do it all over over again.
I'm sure you do it again.
But there's no going back, is there?
Careful, everyone. This environment is dangerous.
Stick close and hurry up. We can't let...
Looks like I'm almost out of time.
Of course, Master.
The combination you used to make...
The scent of Auguste is complex and varied, yet the main ingredient consists of a single variety of flower.
That's crazy, though.
As I was analyzing the sample yesterday, I got to thinking, what if the scent of the Auguste flower was already imbued with that complexity during its cultivation?
You're saying Yelena designed Auguste to have the scent of multiple flowers?
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, Cecilias. The perfumers of the past knew that if you combine their essential oils directly, they would just cancel each other out. It was a conundrum, but if you cultivate a new flower species that intrinsically carries the unique features of those three scents, you can bypass that issue entirely. It goes without saying that for that time, this idea was a stroke of...
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies.
Was he trying to make the pop-up girls? And he added chemical X to the concoction.
Yelena.
Hey, look at that, man. I was holding back. I could have had so much more Primal Gems, though. But I was like, nah. I'm just gonna leave this until later. So I could flex in Feral to show him how much of Primal Gems I'm able to save. How far does this allow me to go? Nope. Can't go very far now, can I? It only gives you like a good amount. It's like, what? How long is this? That's more than 10 minutes. Probably 15 minutes they allow you to stay in this place before they force them to kick you out. I have to give Holy the credit. And does the turmoil caused by Auguste finally comes to an end? Hey, we just teleported to Fontaine. You would think we ran to Neuvillet. In Neuvillet, when they came downstairs and be like, yes, I heard about what happened in Farm Smeru. You will know we'll be putting him to trial.
Did you know? Miss Emilie's releasing a new perfume.
Is it Auguste? Or the version she made it?
I think it's called Yelena.
Oh. That's a bit morbid. Morbid.
Is talking about the new perfume you're releasing.
Like she took the man's sister's name.
I was hoping to release it without such a fuss, but the news spread way faster than I expected. I just hope it won't become the source of some new myth, especially after all the work we did to demystify Auguste. I did, although I made a few modifications to the formula to make the scent more pleasant and long-lasting. I actually brought a few samples with me today. I hope they're to your liking. Also, I was hoping you could try out the fragrance before I officially release it and tell me your thoughts.
Of course! A good sense of taste and sense of smell go hand in hand, you know? Just leave it to Paimon! Oh, it smells great!
It's alright. All feedback is worth considering.
Why need to wait for our feedback before you release it to the public then?
When it comes to perfume,
Like you just released it without that? None of her input?
You can ask for. There doesn't always have to be a deeper meaning.
Right! Do those flowers have some special meaning? Hearing their names seemed to have an effect on him.
If I had to guess,
Mm-hmm.
it probably has something to do with the language of flowers.
The language of flowers? Oh, we've
before. Paimon remembers hearing something like, the Cecilia represents the true feelings of the prodigal son?
What each flower is said to represent varies by person and across different moments in history. The same is true for the flowers that make up the scent of Auguste. After returning to Fontaine, I did some research, and it turns out the meanings of those 3 flowers can be reassembled to form a single phrase. Forget the past and keep on living.
Hey.
Perhaps that's the legacy Yelena always intended, not the nobility and grandeur most people associate with Auguste.
Only if he got that message earlier. Could have saved a bunch of Arteka. Morbid, like Morbid Orb from Peglin. Wait a minute. Now we're making Peglin reference. No.
Before his trial and explained what I found.
Not like this, huh? Why would it? He's in prison now.
Who knows? Maybe she didn't mean anything by it at all. That was his response. Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she was thinking. We can look for meaning all we want, but it'll never be anything but conjecture.
Amen.
If that is what she was trying to say, I would never be able to forget her. Avenging her death? That was the meaning I chose for my life. Kyria cultivated his revenge like a flower. He was committed to making it bloom, even if in the end, it didn't bear the fruit he was hoping for. In any case, he did want me to pass along his thanks. Thank you for saving my life.
Dude, you killed people, man.
To learn that Auguste could have carried a very different meaning.
I don't know how I feel about you thanking me.
Privilege of the living. When someone dies, their thoughts, feelings, and intentions die with them. In that sense, what Auguste truly represents in the language of flowers will forever remain a mystery. But even if it's only a conjecture, I would like to believe my own interpretation. The meaning we give to flowers, the symbolism we assign to our perfumes, they're constantly twisted and exploited in our imperfect world. And yet, at the very outset, they're born from the simplest and most beautiful desires we hold in our heart.
Hey. We've got perfume. Overall, I like it. I think Hoyo's been cooking with these stories, because a lot of them are very how would I describe it? So what makes these stories so good is there's a dark undertone to all these stories. A thing that really elevates the experience when we're dealing with these dark undertones. Well, it's pretty much in your face, actually, this one. The darkness is pretty much in your face. A man's sister dies to mask her mistakes. And she killed herself because she would have exposed herself and her brother, most importantly, of the fact that they were from Snezhnaya and using a delusion. And she would have really put their brother in a bind. So she kind of sacrificed herself to save him. But in reality, well, the further story is also the fact that the brothers exposed themselves and got caught doing illegal stuff involving said perfume, but the stuff that could have been avoided if the brothers were more diligent in their business practices. And that's truly what got the situation That's truly what escalated the situation and got the Phantom. Mary Chase involved. And that's kind of why everything kind of spiraled out of control. Overall, pretty interesting stuff. 116 polls. Huh? The only character I want right now is maybe Ian-san if she's like a support for Mavuika. If she's support for Mavuika, I'll get Ian-san. Or maybe there's or Skirk. But even then, I don't really need to go in on Mavuika. We'll see what happens because I'm expecting the doctor to arrive within the next year. By this time next year, I expect either one of the Harbingers, either one or two of the Harbingers should be available. So who could be available right now? We have the Doctor, Columbina, and Sandrone. Those are the ones I expect to be released. Columbina, Sandrone, and the Doctor. I don't know. I expect like the Bolsonaro. I expect to be released with. Actually, Bolsonaro could be. Nah, I think he's the mayor for Steshta. I said you won't meet him until you get to Steshta. Whereas, I don't know. I actually don't know. I just expect the Doctor to be released next year. I don't know which ones. Who else could be coming with him? Because we have the Doctor, we have the Regal, we have Columbina, we have
Show no mercy. See, Laline, East Pop, light up the blazing sun. Incinerate.
And before that, we should be getting 2 new regions for Nalan. God, we're still nowhere close to maxing out the. Oh my god, please, Prage. Crit rate. End my suffering. End federal suffering. End all our suffering. No more Prage. Either way, I'm rolling it. Doesn't matter. I wish you had rolled like something else. But, it is what it is. Okay. It is not what it is. Well, in a couple of days, I'm gonna make another one anyway. I just got Prage, that one rolls well. But yeah, in a couple of days, I'm gonna make another timepiece in Mavuika. I don't really need to, but as in, there's not really much for me to obsess about when it comes to Mavuika's stats. Because she's doing already insane amount of damage. I'm just obsessed with having top 1%. Cause I'm crazy like that. Some people call it a madness. I just say it's a hobby. I like to have characters at 1%. Nothing weird about that. Who doesn't like character or top 1%? Nothing sussy about that one at all. I think we all should strive to have characters at top 1%. Of course, that would dilute the number and make everybody's bill. Everybody who's at below top 1%. Well, actually, it would make a lot of people fall down because so many people are now top 1%. Since everybody's striving to be top 1%. Well, that's life right here. Okay, this is called an echo. Did I do every once? John Lee has this. Yeah, that's everyone's. Right now, I have 32 pity with 116 pulse. Great. Pretty much have to save. I can't get any more characters. I went way too hard with Movika and Sitlali. Man, she's thick. Oh, this is a thick waifu right here. That is thick. Where else I could go? Alright. Maybe I save it for tomorrow or later, I don't know. But the idea here is that I do have other stuff I could do. I'm just not sure if I want to do them. Unlearn, man. That was a long P. Bernice. I guess I could start some ZZZ. Wait for my groceries to arrive. Start some ZZZ. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do some runs in this game, then start up ZZZ. And then tomorrow I finish some ZZZ and I go into doing the companion quest. For, maybe I do WoWa, I'm not sure. I feel like I want to play around my character a little bit in WoWa. I don't know, man. I'm gonna do WoWa, fuck it. I'm just gonna go over to WoWa and beat up the story. Let's do as much as I feel like doing. Oh, no, man, I asked too much. Oversharing, no. You shared too much. I wasn't supposed to know that. I will never ask Federal what he did again. Mistakes were made. I made a grave mistake. Something I will never repeat again. Well, I will change the title to Wua. No speed, huh? Smooch. Man, I'm gonna check out that piece, see if it rolls either speed or crit damage. I don't like to know that kind of stuff. That's why I like to keep my mind innocent and pure. I'm supposed to be pure of mind. Alright, that's just dead. That is dead. Daddy dead, daddy dead, daddy dead, yo. Did I come and me want go home? Alright, let's start up on my ZZZ now. I mean Wua. Let's start up on my Wua. A lot of excitement around Wua. I don't know if it's excitement, but Wua is an okay game. It's not a bad game. It's just not a great game. It's nothing like Genshin Impact. It's a fine, okay game. It lacks the most important thing. It doesn't really have much impact. Not like Genshin Impact. But yeah, the game is pretty much that. As in the story quite like this is their version of Lantern Rite event. This is how they get their skin. You basically go into this. Basically, it's like a watered down version of the letter event that Genshin Impact got for Lantern Rite, where you just go into this menu, You click it, and then a character shows up, and then you talk to them, and they give you like a letter. And it was just a simple thing. It wasn't even anything in the open world. It was just this one small menu. It was like a web event. And that's how you got the skin for Withering Waves. It was nothing special. Like right now, like WoA does have some interesting environments, but that alone doesn't really inspire interest, because there's not much lore, and there's definitely not a lore community for this game, so there's not really much discussion for that kind of topic, which means that somebody like myself who rely on these people to learn the lore from is not gonna be able to, because the lack of that community. We were seeing Genshin Impact. Like, what did I learn about recently? Oh yeah, I finally learned about the story of what happened in Fontaine with Mary Ann. That long ass quest with Caterpillar and all those people. I finally learned what exactly happened in that quest line. Thanks to YouTube, and somebody actually sat down and did it. What's wrong with going to the toilets? It's not about going to the toilet, it's about being informed of somebody going to the toilet. I like to keep some things mystery as a mystery. And one of those things I like to keep as a mystery is my chatter's bathroom activity. I like peeing, sure, but anything else is what's the word? TMI. Too much information. I'm just weird like that, I guess. But what is going on with this compiling shader thing? It's been taking forever. Before I exited, it was stuck at 2%. Like, it's going so slowly. Like, what is going on? What did you do to my PC, Federal? Did you see the Genshin code I put in Discord? Get yourself 60 Prima gems, man. Oh man, a bunch of animes came out. Sakamoto Days, Solo Leveling, A rank party. I think it's called I Left My A rank party to join. Something else, an S rank beast, Behemoth. Oh yeah, hey, look, that's Genshin, like frame rate. Yeah, I read the that code. Yeah, so this is what it feels like. No wonder you hate Genshin Impact. Because right now, I'm hating WoA because of that. Yeah. There's been some beef going on between this guy called Ethan and Hassan for some time now, which is crazy. And every now and then I go on Reddit and I see discussion about that. What is this topic? Well, it almost only gets that bad when I'm compiling shaders as well. It's pretty rare for it to drop that low during regular gameplay. And this is the first time I've ever seen compiling shader be a thing. Like that. Usually I guess it loads real fast. But this is the first time I'm actually looking at it fully load out. You know, my year of gacha gaming. This is the first time. Good lord, huh? Man. America's kind of fucked up, man. I just read about this police case that happened last year. Well, not last year. It happened 2023. I'm not gonna go into the details, but it was fucked up. Man, that was fucked up. They just got sentenced this year. The crime happened a couple years ago, but just recently got sentenced. Let's say it happened in 2023, so 2 years ago. At most, though. I don't know when in 2023, but
A new era awaits.
hey, do I get anything? Nope. 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 No. Alright. I'm gonna go around open world and see if I could find one thing to level up for today. That's my criteria. I just need something that says attack percent. Where is it? Alright, I'm gonna go somewhere a bit more, because this always leads me into a fucking labyrinth. If I start on that side of the map, it leads me to a labyrinth, and then it's very hard navigating that goddamn labyrinth to try to find a monster to kill. So I decided, fuck it. Well, it almost only gets that bad when you're compiling shaders.
Quickly and swiftly.
Quickly and swiftly. Man, I don't understand like who directed these people when they did the voice acting for this game. Because the voice actors just sound dead inside. A school shooting happened in Sweden this week. Pretty much everyone got shocked. Apparently the government will still take action to enforce new measures to prevent that. Yeah. America will just do thoughts and prayers when that happens. Sounds like another day in America. Nothing to see here, guys. It's another day in Cola Land. But trans people won't be in our sports, I guess. America knows how to focus on the real problems. No, that one trans person won't be in women's sports. All the school shootings, who gives a damn? We gotta focus on the real issue, that one kid or person who's like, I want to be a woman and play in women's sports. Yeah, that one person. We have to write complete legislation against that one person in that one city. Are those 20 people? While hundreds of kids in America are dying from school shooting.
You will yield. Surrender.
What a shithole country, man. Crazy how that shit is just everybody's activities in the States. Yeah. Crazy. Well, because Americans prioritize this culture wars. They fight culture wars. You don't fight real issues. Basically, the way society works is that you give them a target. In America, the target are trans, black, Hispanics, gays. So you're able to rob people blind if you're able to convince them that there's somebody out there that's doing worse than them, but trying to get up in the world. So they will go out their way to try to drag those people down. Instead of trying to lift everyone up, they try to drag everybody else down. That's the policy. So they see you just even slightly getting ahead in life, they would try to drag you down. It happened many times in American history where a group of people tried to elevate themselves up. America would just, the Americans would just turn around and be like, all right, we're willing to destroy the country to make sure you don't get ahead. Because right now, you probably not fully understand the situation America is in right now, but Elon Musk owns America. He bought it. He owns it. He's the one. He's not elected. He's just a random guy giving complete control over the United States right now. Where Donald Trump just sits there and does write bills that attacks minority groups. They ran it. Well, they didn't run on it, but people thought that Trump would lower the price of groceries, but grocery prices just keep going higher and higher. So not just are we doing worse off within less than a month of him being president, we're also worse off when it comes to just the entire situation. Just bad. He's just really fucked right now. Like, ooh. I always wondered to myself, like, how did Hitler rise up? Did no one think what he was doing was wrong? But when the masses are like this, they're rabid. You look for somebody to blame for their problems. You just have to pick a minority that can't really defend themselves. And that would be your scapegoat. And once you have your scapegoat, you could just rob this fucking people blind. And they would cheer you on. And be like, yes. That's my guy. He's kicking the minorities. While you're down. And that's how you do it. That's how you take over. So if you ever want to take over a country, just make sure you blame minorities. That's a group that can't defend themselves. That's already alienated by society. You blame them for every problem, despite them not really holding any power in the country. Like, trans people have no power in America. They don't run anything. They're not CEOs. They're not. There's like one trans person in Congress. Same thing for gays, black people. Like, these are minority groups. They don't control shit. So you could easily blame them and they would not be able to defend themselves properly. Like, look, Trump became president in this so-called DEI country. How is that possible? If they actually ran stuff, how could a racist motherfucker retard like Trump win in this so-called DEI country? Because they didn't run anything. You're just minority groups. And now everybody's getting fucked, raw dogged by Elon Musk. Hitler just rose because he managed to pull Germany's economy together after the disaster that was war. The hate towards Jews came on. Wasn't the hate what he used to rally? The people around him? Because he blamed the money problem on the Jews. You would think it would be there. Like, the way what I took away from it was the fact that he used Jews as a scapegoat to consolidate power, to even be elected in the first place. He looked for a scapegoat, and the Jews were the scapegoat for who he used to justify why Italy's economy wasn't doing as well as it should be, because the Jews control all the money, and that was basically what he used to rally the people behind him.
Victory favors me.
At least that's how I interpreted it. That there was already animosity towards Jewish people in Germany at that time. And he just used that to rally people around him, become elected, and then galvanize them towards the world domination.
Quickly and swiftly.
But the point of the matter is that we're here once again in America doing the same shit. Targeting minorities as the controllers of everything. All these minorities that have no real power, they control everything. And you're just like, how is that possible? If you're in power, do they really control everything? If you're just able to openly hate on these people, do they really control anything? But usually somebody controls stuff, but they're the ones in power. Well, maybe I'm just crazy like that. Maybe when people are in charge, you don't have no power. Maybe that's what it means to be in charge. To have no power.
The stage is set.
But yeah. America sold the soul to attack trans people. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but the Board of Education, America's Board of Education is gone right now. Our foreign aid system is gone. So we've got and there's already this case where this girl was in this process of USAID. They were doing a clinical trial, and now there's a device stuck inside of her because the program she was on, she was in a test program, and they basically had to leave it in her because the program got cancelled by Trump. And now we have no Board of Education. So now we have a bunch of, well, it's not like people were smart anyway, Trump won. But now our people are going to be stupider. I guess states will get to decide, which is not bad actually. Like, now states will get to decide what education we have. So those in the red states are kind of just fucked. But the blue states could actually teach your kids science and shit like that. And stop using the Texas. I think we're forced to use Texas, which is a red states. Textbooks. So now we're free to use whichever textbooks we want. So the blue states are just gonna be somewhat free to be able to actually educate your kids. But the red states are pretty much just gonna turn to Christianity. And teach religion. America's whole thing was about separation of church and state. Rip that. Rip that. Oh man, this is so bad. This is so bad. Never expected things to get well. Once he became president, I expected things to get this bad, but it's kind of surreal when you really like look at how much things he has dismantled. Like, it's easy to dismantle, it's easy to break things, extremely difficult, near impossible to put them back together. America, you can't do that. You can't enforce the Bible. Well, you couldn't do that before. I'm pretty sure you could do that now. Once as I said before, private schools could do that. That's the thing. Private schools could do that. So the whole thing America is trying to do, the right wing in America have been trying to do, they've been trying to get access to government aid. Because when you do that, the schools that are able to use the Bible as reference are the ones that are private. The government doesn't control your school. So the goal has always been to get access to taxpayer money for their schools. And the way you do that is by trying to dismantle the board of education. And then once you dismantle it, you're not able to use. You could just say we're going to give them states blank checks or something along that line. And you get to decide your own curriculum. So now we could turn public schools into places of religion, places of religion, where you can now use the Bibles in public school as your textbook. Which of course is just gonna cause anarchy. Because America is not one culture, is many people from all across the world from different religions that came here. And now you're basically saying, hey, seriously? I've never heard of it, but that should be legal. That's wait a minute, have I been getting every time I kill that boss, is there multiple instances of chess here? I already killed this boss already. Am I supposed to keep returning here to kill this boss? Maybe I am. But yeah, so America's not doing so well right now. This is like, I can't emphasize how bad the situation is right now. Like this is the end of an empire right now. What we're experiencing. We're being robbed blind. Well, it's not really blind. It's just the people who voted for Trump are being robbed blind. Like this is astronomical. Because right now the entire world feels unsafe because of Trump. Because he's also pretty much pro-Russia as well. His main tactic right now is to get access to, I think he's trying to get access to, and again, this is not for Americans. He's not trying to get access for Americans. He's just trying to get access for the wealthy corporation. So he wants Greenland because I believe they have rare ores. And he wants Canada because I also believe they have something. Probably oil or something else. And he wants, I believe it. Maybe Ukraine has some kind of resource he wants, but Ukraine is known for grains. But there's a rare mineral that the people say he's trying to attain. But right now, EU doesn't feel safe. Because on one side they have Trump, on the other side they have Putin. So there's a lot. At least that's what I've been seeing. Like, none of these say attack percent. Wow, not a single one. At least I got a glacial. Alright, so what I want here is simple. I want one that tells me energy recharge, double crit. So I want to say energy recharge, double crit, and yeah, that's it. Just energy recharge and double crit. I'm not asking for too much. I think I'm asking for just the right amount. Alright, so that's crit. Now I just need energy recharge and crit damage. Okay. Energy recharge now. Just give me energy recharge. Please, just give me energy recharge. Yes. It's over. It's over. The suffering is over. Federal, you were here. You witnessed this magic. Alright, I gotta figure out which one to replace. I have this one with double crit attack percent. And this one with the skill damage. I don't know. Maybe they're the same. I guess I test it out though. Do I have a deal more damage? I don't know. I would test it because I like to. Well, I like to record myself, but then again, I just look at the VODs. Is this good? This says nothing, and this says. Well, it's like getting a good artifact. It's not as much energy recharge as I would like. It's close though, but it only has 294. I was hoping for 300. Frankly, it's probably worse than the one I just replaced. This is probably worse than the one I just replaced. Because this one has no crit damage, but it has skill attack percent. But I guess we find out. So how do we test? How do we test? Alright, so I'm gonna do a run. I'm gonna see how fast I could clear. Probably is gonna be within the margin of error. Probably is gonna be within the margin of error. So we have to learn how much damage am I doing? That's the question. What's the nuke looking like? When I do a nuke, what does it look like?
Take this. Worry not. Perish. In war with time.
You go like this.
Loading. Instant witness the art's true form.
You switch it, immediately cast my thing.
My compliments. Brilliance lights the way. Victory.
Oh, okay. So I'm doing. I can't even see my numbers.
A new era awaits.
I couldn't see a single number. Did I take the number thing off? Did I take off numbers? Why would I do that? Why would I have taken off numbers?
I alone will decide. I alone will decide whether it's for show or for battle.
Do I have anything to show for this? No. I guess I rolled all the pieces I had. Yeah. Alright, so basically I gotta go to the menu. Oh, you can disable numbers in that game? I think Genshin, maybe Genshin could do that too. I'm not sure. But yeah, numbers are very important for these type of games because that's induce FOMO. That's how you get people to FOMO because you go into co-op and you see your opponent or your partner doing it 10 times your damage and you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on over there? That's the reason I pulled Ayaka too, because I saw somebody, well, I didn't really see their damage because Ayaka does a lot of small numbers, but she does a ton of it. Okay, kind of fucked up. I want to be as consistent with this run as possible. Maybe let's go to a big boss instead of doing something small. So let's go like this. You start this off. You go like this.
Perish. Astral modulation. Loading.
You go like this. The moment she shows up.
Here comes a helper. My compliments. Running won't save you. The world.
How much this does? 5k hits her, 5k hits her, 5k, 5k, 53, 44, 43, 443. Let me take notes. I did 443k with the 53k. 53112. So that's it's cool that they have the option to do it. I can see how some people would dislike the screen being cluttered. Well, not me. I like my clutter. So I know when I'm doing big PP damage. How else would I know, huh? How else would I know if I'm doing impressive numbers? Place was with the beer. I have to get out of this menu because my stats are looking kind of iffy right now. Like, I'm not farming anymore for this. After this, I'm done.
I alone will decide whether it's for show.
Yeah, my stats barely went up too. But I think that one might be worse. The new thing I just celebrated getting, I think it might be worse. But we'll find out right now. So the way you do consistency is you wait for this thing to show up. Astral modulation. Immediately should do this.
Here comes a helper. My compliments. You will yield. Glory demands more.
11. Oh, alright, so this one is stronger. This one is stronger. It is way stronger. Okay. Let me just get out of here. So that whole celebration thing I just did was for nothing. Yeah. It is stronger. The original build I had. It makes sense, because I don't really get that much stat increase from the one I just got. And this one gives me higher energy recharge. Guess that's a L. That's just one of my many L's. I was celebrating for nothing. I was so happy. I was jumping up and down. You probably couldn't hear. Given my very good mic that's able to make sure no excess audio gets picked up. Which is a complete lie, because every time I check the VODs, I'm always hearing. I am always hearing the some kind of alarm, like I think like an ambulance or a fire truck. Every time I listen to the voice, I always hear that stuff. I'm like, come on, man! I thought my mic was supposed to get rid of those excess noises. But boy, was I wrong. I thought that I finished the story quest. There's so many people that skip, huh? Like, so many people skip everything in WoW. That's why there's no lore community. Everyone's skipping.
No, settle down, you two. The woolly warrior will come out once everyone's nicely in their seats. Plus, Encore is still waiting for a friend. Ah, there he is.
Reminds you of Genshin Impact, doesn't it? Rover! I know they want to say traveler.
Encore was wondering if you'd come, and even had Cosmos and Cloudy go scouting for you. Encore wants you to come play with us and listen to our stories. Everyone was so busy the last time Encore's here in Jinzhou, we didn't even get to play together. But Encore won't let that happen again, cause Encore's here on vacation this time.
Wait a minute, is this the story quest? Is this the beginning?
Of course they do. Everyone at Black Shores is really nice. Even someone as busy as Alto gets to have them. Anyway, since we finally got some free time, I told Alto I wanted to visit some friends in Jinzhou. But he just lay in his chair, bragged about how he has so much grown-up stuff to worry about, and was too busy for playtime.
What kind of voice does that girl have? What you mean? I think she's supposed to be Klee. She's also used as a... She has dolls and she's fire. And she's able to explode. Her, like, she explodes herself. Like, I don't know, like she builds up energy and then blow up. Klee doesn't explode herself. Klee has bombs to explode. But she's basically like Klee. But with a British accent.
Gather round, everyone. Encore presents to you Rover, savior of Jinzhou, hero of heroes.
Man, that smile looks so weird. Like, their faces just don't look good in this game. Like, without a Paimon nearby to talk, it does make him being silent a bit more awkward. Like, if you're gonna make him... If you're gonna take away the Paimon from the game, you need somebody to talk. It's like, now, like, he needs to talk, huh? Because Paimon would have said something between these awkward silence moments.
Sounds a lot like Alto.
See, you could talk, say something, dude.
There's this other story about a golden-eyed kitty and his little birdie friend with gray feathers.
Who is it? I have no idea who these characters are.
There's plenty more of them. This time, Encore's got a whole new story to tell. It's about the adventures of the Woolly Warrior. You'll love it.
Man, like these awkward faces just last a little bit too long. These cutscenes. Like when he was just smiling there for like a couple seconds. That dragged on way too long. It felt kind of awkward.
If you enjoy stories, Rover, you might even get to go inside one. What do you say, Woolies?
Go inside a story. Is Encore using some kind of metaphor? Doesn't hurt to check it out, I guess.
Well, that's too bad. I guess you have more important. But if you ever want to hear some stories.
Wait a minute. Did I just accidentally exit the story? So now I have to sit down, huh? Let me turn up the voice. So we can get the full volume of the Britishness. Well, the thing is 9% of the time Paimon lines are just pointed out obvious or repeating something that's already been said. You don't... No, Paimon adds levity to a situation. Like when she described us as a hero, Paimon would have came in like she was trying to describe us as a hero. Paimon would have added levity by saying, what about Paimon? Paimon saves day too, or Paimon helps too. Why is Paimon not getting the credit? And then I would be like, oh Paimon, you know we love you. But when he just stands there silent, with a smile on his face, he just... And then you also have the situation where you cut away from the traveler's face and cut to Paimon. to basically be the intermediary. Well, the point is, she acts as the middleman between the cutscenes, so he's silent. And instead of focusing on the traveler's silent, awkward face, you cut to Paimon, who's saying some nonsense, and then you have the conversation go back and forth between the character in the main story quest and the Paimon herself. Like in the Emilie story quest, we didn't really focus much on the traveler's face, because somebody was always talking, and then Paimon would act as the person who would ask for clarification or something, like in the Emilie quest. Whereas in this, another character quest, we're focusing a little bit too much on the traveler's awkward face, and we're really highlighting the fact that this person does not talk, at least outwards. Like, clearly he has internal dialogue, but he doesn't talk when it comes to actual interactions between characters, which just leaves an awkward smile on his face, which I find to be a bit eerie. And I'm just saying, if you're going to take away Paimon from the story, because he has a Paimon, like he has a thing that flies around him that shows up every now and then. And I'm saying, if you're going to take away the Paimon from the story, you're going to need for the main character to speak, so the situation don't feel so awkward when he's silent, or when the character asks him something personal. Because you're not paying, like in Genshin case, you're paying Paimon to speak. In this game, you're not paying anybody, so just have the main character speak, just pay them. Like, that's the reason why, probably why they don't want to pay the other two voice actors in Genshin's case, because you already have a Paimon to speak. You don't need to pay the travelers, and you have to pay two of them. But this game decided, alright, we're not going to use a Paimon as much. They do use their Paimon every now and then, but they don't use their Paimon as much, as you could see in the situation. Their Paimon didn't show up. And now he's going to sit there awkwardly smiling. And he's focused a little bit too much on his face, and he's so awkward.
It appears you're already quite renowned. Just traverse countless lands along the boundless horizon.
Nah, man, I do like Paimon, man. She lightens the mood.
See? Everyone's wishes are different.
Like, you don't appreciate it until it's gone. And all you're left with is the smiling traveler. That's really that doesn't say anything. That just has a silly smile on your face.
Asked about her desires. She replies, I do not seek wealth or honor. Bah! Fairy Cloudy, greatly puzzled by this reply, goes on to ask, if you desire neither wealth nor honor, why do you choose to venture to the Gateway of Wishes? I have but one wish, to be reunited with my family. Fairy Cloudy nods in approval and offers her guidance to the little warrior. Very well.
Most of the time, I feel like Paimon lines are unnecessary. Well, you feel like it, but when you actually look at Paimon's lines, Let's get rid of the myth. Let's get rid of this, because people just say stuff. They don't really analyze it to know whether or not. Because while you might feel like it's unnecessary, it adds levity to the situation. It lightens the mood. Paimon is there to really, as a filler for awkward silence. Something you wouldn't realize until. What happened back here? Why did Paimon start sneezing all of a sudden? Like, this is a good question. I was very curious about this. Why didn't I start sneezing? See, like, that's my voice. That's the voice from the video right there. Why didn't I start sneezing? Like, that was me being curious, because Paimon brought up something I was very interested in because Paimon was sneezing, but I wasn't sneezing as a traveler. So that I felt was necessary. And then Paimon was able to have a conversation with her, and as you can see, the traveler doesn't get to really that much time focused on his awkward smile. Like, he doesn't really focus on his face that much. Because look at this, it's his back turn. Whereas in Wuwa, you're looking at this guy with this awkward smile on his face 24/7, not saying anything. And I think this is what Paimon solves. You're able to cut away from the awkward smile of the traveler and have somebody else do the interaction, ask the questions. Real focus as much time on the traveler's awkward ass face. Like, even then, so much of the shots don't close in on his face. They don't go close up of the traveler's face when he's having interactions. Because they know how awkward that shit looks. They show the back of his head most of the time. Or they have so like, if this was Wuwa, you have him facing the camera with an awkward smile. That's there. And it's like, why are you smiling? Whereas in this case, we could cut away to Paimon, who has actual like lip sync and mouth movement, so it doesn't feel as awkward as it does when it comes to Wuwa, where we're just staring straight into this guy's soul. Like, you would never get this kind of scene in Genshin Impact because it's an awkward look. And this scene is just weird. And this is what I'm talking about. This is just a look that the Genshin developers understand. You never want to have this. You never want to have the camera just focus on this silent protagonist with this consistent smile. It's weird. So Genshin tries to do as much ways to get as creative as possible to make sure when the traveler is having this type of moment, either Paimon speaks or the traveler's head is turned away. So you don't get these weird ass scenarios. Like at a point of a parrot in your shoulder that like as I said before, Paimon does have some and she does ask interesting questions. Like, I had no problem with Paimon and the Emilie's quest. Like, maybe you're thinking about 1.0 Paimon, but Paimon has not been an issue for a long time now. Paimon has been completely fine from a narrative standpoint. Like, these kind of scenes are just so awkward. My grocery's about to arrive.
Where am I? Hey, over here!
Nope, gotta get that treasure chest, girl.
I should go check it out.
Nah, man, I gotta get this treasure chest first, boy. Yeah, boy.
To this place. Are you also searching for the Gateway of Wishes?
What? You know me? You mean also? I'm trying to escape. How did I end up here?
Story somehow.
See, the camera is focused on this consistent smile. Like, this is an awkward look for anybody.
Then we'll be going in
Just always be smiling.
If we reach the end of this journey and find out about the Gateway of Wishes, we'll be back to the real world in no time. Since it's your first time here, everything must feel strange to you. This is the Woolly Kingdom, a land filled with
Woolly Kingdom? Is it anything like Dodoco Tale?
Even the clouds are shaped like them.
Much like Dodoco, right?
Place like the back of my hand. I can be your tour. Oh, okay then. I mean,
We're headed in the same direction. Very Cloudy told me.
I don't know. A lot of the time I find myself thinking, yes, Paimon, that's precisely what. Yeah, because you already have this preconceived notion. Next time you do a story quest with Paimon, actually look at what Paimon is saying. Because I think it's because you have a preconceived notion. The community has built up this idea that Paimon is not doing anything relevant. And it's just perpetuated for so long that it's just become that you ignore anything contrary. Because we could have sit down and went through the entire scene of the Emilie quest I just did, and you would not be able to, you would not find as many moments where Paimon reiterates the same point that's already been stated as you think you would. Now, does it happen? Of course it happens. But I don't think it happens as much as you think it happens. But as you can see, this is Klee. She doesn't throw Dodoko bombs, but she drops lamps. No, I don't have a preconceived notion. I just find the Paimon years ago, I just started having the issue, mainly in Fontaine. Oh. That's an interesting thing about Fontaine, because a lot of Wuthering Waves player, you ask them which one was the best patch of all of Genshin Impact, and they would say Fontaine. Every single WoW player says Fontaine was the best, was peak Genshin. Which is funny. Because it wasn't. A lot of people hated the Fortress of Meripede. But WoW players don't seem to share that sentiment. A lot of them are like
This is where many woolly stories begin. When a story gets longer, so will the paths ahead.
Hey, I fell off.
Broken bridges and stuff. Since we'll only be telling
I can't fly in this game.
This time, we should get to the end pretty soon.
Okay, I could use that at least. A lot of Wuthering Waves players, so this was an amazing story. I guess we'll find out.
You're in for some surprises.
But yeah, this is their version of Dodoko.
Look at all these monsters. Let's beat them up. The fruit of evolution. Ah, here comes Encore.
And she even calls herself Encore, much like how Klee calls herself Klee. As in they speak in the third person.
This is Cloudy Fairy. She gets scared pretty easily. But she's really nice and will give us directions.
She's even got all the settings prepared and everything.
So this is fine. He's talking, although he's having internal dialogue and his mouth is moving. It's kind of weird, but whatever.
All you need to do is follow this path and collect 3 relics. Yes! The first relic is the Sword of Courage. To obtain it, you'll have to face all of your challenges head on. Be careful. Next, the Shield of Faith. This is a tricky one, but so long as you believe in yourself, you'll find it eventually after searching every nook and cranny. And finally, the Wreath of Hope, a crown of flowers that can reflect a person's thoughts. Never withers, forever blossoming. Once you've gathered all 3 relics, the Gateway of Wishes will open before you.
Oh man.
Perfect. Now that we have clues about
No, we have immigration officers raiding schools in New York City.
all we need to do now is go through this door.
This is straight up like a watered down version. This is straight up a watered down version of what Hitler was doing for Jews.
You're very welcome.
Just harassing people now.
Any more questions? Do come back any.
Like, we're just going down a very dark path as Americans.
There has to be more, right?
we're just going down a really dark path. That you're allowing, that Americans are not allowing immigration officers to raid schools. Like kids are trying to learn and you just gonna go there and torture them. Man, this is a dark day in America. Or darker. Next 4 years in America.
From the Woolly Kingdom.
Wait a minute, did we really go? Did this girl feed us drugs? Like, what is going on here? Did we get high with a child though?
All the Woolly stories begin. Cosmos and Cloudy's home.
What kind of trip did we just go on?
Encore can even invite friends for a visit. But not everyone, though. The Woolly Kingdom won't welcome anyone who thinks the stories are just made up. You're different. You're one of Encore's best friends and have listened to my stories. So Encore wanted to give you a surprise.
By trapping us in your imaginary world, girl? What kind of surprise is that?
Really?
What if we were stuck there forever?
The part where Woolly Warrior kicked monster butts was super cool, right? Encore really enjoys this story. In it, Woolly Warrior and her companions worked their way out of all kinds of trouble. Just like we did.
I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it's way too frequent for my liking.
Stories will give you strength.
I don't know, man. Like, as I said before, I find Paimon a bit endearing. Man, every time I try to say words that I just overheard and don't really know how they're pronounced, and then I sound like an idiot. But yeah, I find Paimon necessary to really liven the discussions that happen in Genshin Impact.
But this time, Encore's here on vacation. Curious about what happens next in the story, Rover? If you are, you should join Encore's adventure team. That way, we can go and find out its ending together. Sure, you can be captain, and Encore will be the vice captain. Now, for our first team assignment, let's go find out everyone's thoughts on the story. The joys of the story should be shared with everyone. It's not just my story. Once we know what the audience thinks, we'll know how to work on the story going forward. After all, it's the applause that makes for a curtain call. Okay, let's see. Look, that girl by herself over there. Encore wonders what she thinks about the story. Come on, let's go ask her. Hey, I saw you all by yourself over here. What's your name?
I'm Ying.
I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm getting bored. I am getting bored. Like, the Emilie story was so much more interesting because it was like depth, there was intrigue, there was mystery. But this is just like, it's gonna be some kind of painful story. I already know what it's about. It's about somebody's her mother died and the pain of dealing with grief. But it's kind of just feels like
Gathering all 3 relics, you can have your wishes.
It's getting dragged out,
Yeah, it's what it says in the story.
I'd like you to see this.
Also, it's just me, or the kids in these games never talk like actual kids. Their sentences are way too formal and articulated to sound like children. How does Genshin kids talk? I know Klee talks cutesy. But the difference between Klee and this girl is a bit... I guess that's probably the issue. Klee just talk a bit cutesy.
That looks like a lighthouse and a giant rock over here. But Encore can't really tell exactly where it is.
I guess you're right.
Whoa, you can tell just from that? Oh, you must have been to there. An area on the map
That's definitely something different between a character like Encore and Klee. Klee talks like a child, Encore talks like an adult pretending to be a child. Well, never pretending to be a child. She sounds like an adult with a softer tone voice.
Uncle remembers that at some point of the story, the woolly warrior will get her hands on a treasure map. This map, where did you find? It's from my mom. This map is a Mom took me to a play one time. I remember in that play, the adventurers wanted to have their wishes come true. So with the woolly fairy's help, they set off to find the legendary relics. Just like in the story you told us. After watching it, I asked Mom all the time if these relics that could make wishes come true were real. But she was always busy with work as a ranger, so she was. Then, one day, Mom gave me.
I watched you do play Bayonetta a few years ago. At some point, you have you have to rescue the little version of Bayonetta. Well, she meets herself, but as a kid. The kid truly talked like a child who barely knows they're alive, and it really made me realize how poor the writing in Genshin for that. You serious? Oh man. Sometimes I wonder why you even play Genshin. I wonder if is there anything Genshin does that's good in your opinion? Alright, so Bayonetta as a kid. A young Bayonetta. Let me refamiliarize myself.
What are you boys doing in here? Slow down. I am not your mother.
But, Mommy?
Will you quit calling me Mummy? If there's two things I hate in this world, it's cockroaches and crying babies.
She told me next time she came back from work, she would go relic hunting with me, and that I wouldn't have to be afraid of anything with her around.
Yes, Mommy. To be a strong little person.
She wanted me to think hard about what I'd wish for most once we found all the relics. I thought of a lot of wishes. I wanted to have all the starflakes I could eat. Lots and lots of new toys.
Alright, 1 second.
But now,
The story is what's keeping me.
I want to see my mom again. There are so many things I want to tell her. The grown-ups all said that Mom was on a mission somewhere far, far away. But I felt like they were hiding something from me. I knew Mom was never coming home. But I just wanted to see her again. And then I thought of her treasure map. I told Dad about the map. And he just hugged me and didn't say anything. But when I heard your story, I was thinking, if it's all true, then maybe, just maybe... Then you should join our team! Encore knows that grown-ups always say that kind of thing just to be nice.
Most of them are okay. Just a little stuffy sometimes. Encore's heard a lot of them before. So, Encore can tell what's real and what's not. Like this treasure map? It's 100% real, that's for sure. You really think so? Yup, trust me. Since your mom left you this treasure map, then there's more reason we should go look for it. Plus, Rover and I are searching for an ending to the story. Now, the clue to the ending is right in our hands. What do you say, Captain? Let's get this journey started!
Alright, Federal, I guess I'm about to leave. I'll continue this nonsense tomorrow. My grocery just came and I'm hungry.
Wooly is ready to roll out. Objective, the 3 relics. I'm not really familiar with Jinjo. Have you ever
The story. And that's the thing, like, a lot of people were skipping this game. So for them, the story is Netflix not keeping them.
But she warned me not to go there alone because
And that's kind of why you don't want to skip button. You want people to be as engaged with your story as much as possible. You need people to cling to the story. Because the combat only can go so far in a gacha game. Frankly, for every game. Even for a game like Elden Ring relies on its lore to carry itself. Because people do get interested in that kind of stuff. But anyway, I will overstay my welcome. I continue this tomorrow. Have a great day, Federal. And bye-bye. I'm not even sure if Federal is still here, so I'm just going to do exclamation mark bye. In their stead. Should I have to do it somewhere else? Where is my... Oh, they're here. I guess they could do exclamation bye.